An island for all. I can add attributes to everything. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 101. Open the treasure chest. Sube found that the native races he picked up were a little confused. This was the case with Katie the flower fairy before, and even more so with the current mermaid Eleanor. It was outrageous to drift here because he fell asleep and was almost eaten by a shark. But Sube thought for a moment and felt that there must be something hidden here. Eleanor is a bronze senior, not to mention how high this level is. At least there is no higher level than her on Sube's island. Of course, in terms of actual combat power, Sube can fight at least 10 Eleanor. But for other people, even Du Ling and Zhuan Menyu, who have the blessing of the entry, are probably not her opponents. Is such a mermaid drifting over just because she fell asleep? Sube is not very convinced. For a moment, he suspected it was a trap. But Sube quickly ruled out the possibility. First of all, Eleanor can refresh the entry, and has not been eroded by demonic energy. It is unlikely that hostile races will cause trouble. Secondly, if 590 is not a Gemcat reminder, Sube probably didn't notice Eleanor. Even if you want to set up a trap to trap him, you have to involve him in it. If Eleanor just floats down the river, no matter how subtle the trap is, it will be meaningless. After pondering for a moment, Sube then asked, "Eleanor, can you sense the aura of the clansman? Do you want to send you back?" Eleanor twitched her tail uneasy and said, "I have never been to this sea area, so it may be difficult to find a tribe." Sube said in his heart, "How long have you been drifting? Is it farther than the flower fairy Avina and the others?" But this is undoubtedly good news. Sube decisively refreshed the entry and prepared to fix it. To form an army of marine life, you can count on this mermaid. After all, it was his when he arrived on his island. Whether it's a treasure chest or a mermaid, take it all. Refresh. 99 slap. Soon, a purple entry light ball appeared in Sube's field of vision. Ocean Covenant, epic, strengthens the tame effect, greatly increases the upper limit of tameable targets. This entry comes at the right time. Sube has only one request for Eleanor: help him tame sea creatures, set up a warning circle around the island, and give early warning. Coupled with three-dimensional detection, it can absolutely make the island foolproof. Originally, I was worried that a mermaid would not be enough, but now, Ocean Covenant is here, so there is no need to worry at this stage. Fixed. 39. Ding. The entry has been fixed. The target loyalty is constant at 100. 35. Eleanor only felt that the mysterious power was surging in her body, and the connection between her and the ocean seemed to be closer. Looking up in confusion, Eleanor was startled. This human being is like a god incarnate. Sube nodded secretly. Very good, and fooled to another one. Clearing his throat, Sube asked, "Eleanor, how did you drift here, with your strength? You shouldn't be able to sleep so deeply." 35. Eleanor respectfully said, "My lord, it should be because of Wangchen flowers. Before I fell asleep, I smelled a strange smell, very similar to Wangchen flowers." Sube recalled the information about Wangchen. This is a flower that grows in the deep sea, and the smell has a strong psychedelic effect. This can explain why the bronze level Eleanor falls asleep. Because Wangchen couldn't even stand up to a silver level or even a gold level powerhouse. Sube gathered his thoughts and continued, "You said just now that you came to this sea area for the first time. Is there no trace of mermaids in this sea area?" Eleanor replied, "Yes, in my impression, there is no mermaid group in this sea area. However, the divisions of the mermaid group are too wide, and the connections between them are not so close, so the situation in this sea area cannot be completely determined." Sube nodded. He probably knew the situation. After pondering for a moment, he said, "You rest here first. The battle on the island has just ended, and there are some things that need to be dealt with." "Okay." 35. Having said that, Sube left the water pool and went to find Og. The treasure chests recovered just now are still waiting to be opened. That was quite a fortune. It's a big profit this time. Su-bei secretly took stock. With so many shark corpses, the decomposed materials can not only clear the account of the special team, but also have a lot of balance. 95 And Eleanor, when the ocean returns to calm, you can tame the sea beasts and set up a warning circle. In the end, there are these treasure chests. I don't know what good things can be opened. Unfortunately, there are no gold-level treasure chests. This is the biggest regret. While thinking, Su-bei came to the beach by the sea. Tiger had finished classifying the sharks and stacked them on the beach. After seeing Su-bei, he walked over and said, "Islander, I want to borrow the dragon yin knife. The skins of these sharks are too tough to peel off." Su-bei took off the long yin sword and handed it over, and at the same time instructed, "Choose 10 bronze-ranked sharks and deal with them individually. I have other arrangements. This is reserved for the special team." In the previous battle, Su-bei took about 70 million supplies from Shen Qingling. The big head is a bronze-level harpoon, almost 50 million. The thing is really too expensive. A salvo is 1 million. And even if there is a discount, there are 7 or 8 million. Spending money is like running water, it keeps flowing. But the more money you spend, the more you earn. There are quite a few sharks killed by harpoons. Even a bronze-level shark will die on the spot if it is hit. The results achieved by the flower fairies are quite rich. 10 bronze-ranked sharks, all kinds of materials were collected, probably worth about 50 million. For the rest, Su-bei took some black iron grade materials to make up. Hong was processing the materials, while Su-bei turned his attention to the pile of treasure chests. Stepping forward and slamming a few feet, all 6 black iron treasure chests were opened. Inside the black iron treasure chest are various seedlings, all of which are tenacious seaweeds. Not bad. After this shark attack, Su-bei discovered the importance of underwater defense. These tenacious seaweeds are a great addition. Then, Su-bei looked at the bronze-level treasure chests. There were 11 in total. If you are lucky, you can greatly supplement the island's combat power. Open all at once. In an overview of the harvest, in addition to the seeds, there are also 2 kinds of supplies that Su-bei desperately needs: the heart fragment of the island and the jade amulet on the left side of the enchanted island. The 3 island heart fragments, of different grades, can provide an island area of 0.20.4 square kilometers. Su-bei directly refreshes and batches. Optimization, excellent level, double the effect of the item fixed. Use 3 fortified pieces of the heart of the island, providing a total area of 1.8 square kilometers. This is quite a vast land area. Mud is constantly emerging from the edge of the island. As for the other 2 pieces of coordinate jade, Su-bei is going to explore during the day and put them away. Bronze-level seeds, the species are also very fixed. All are white moon fruit tree seeds. White moon fruit tree seeds, 2.5 bronze top grade. The white moon fruit produced is the favorite food of wood elves. Seeing this introduction, Su-bei suddenly had an unusual idea. These treasure chests must not have come from the wood elves. Ordinary native races do not collect white moon fruit seeds. Could it be that the wood elves' warehouse was bombed? While muttering, Su-bei put away the white moon fruit seeds, and then opened the remaining 5 silver-level treasure chests. There were 5 eggs in it. Horned eagle egg, silver middle grade. After hatching, you can get the potential silver intermediate horned eagle, which is a ferocious flying beast and the best combat partner of the wood elves. Seeing these horned eagle eggs, Su-bei was completely sure. These treasure chests flowed from the wood elves. If you guessed correctly, there is a cluster of wood elves in the origin area of the ocean current. And it's not small. Then calculate according to the life of the wood elves. There is probably a super island with an area comparable to the mainland. Advertisement Chapter 102 Prepare to shake people. Su-bei calculated several times and felt that his conclusion should be fine. In the island world, there is also land. Of course, the land here is strictly an island. It's just that the area is so vast that it is no different from the land. There are a large number of native races living on it, which are prosperous and prosperous. As a branch of the elves, the wood elves have the same thing as the elves. Powerful. And it is very powerful. The elves, whether they are wood elves, night elves, black elves, or other branches, are the darlings of the island world, and they hold unrivaled power. At the same level, only a few top races can beat them. With such a powerful force in their hands, the elves naturally have to occupy more territory and obtain better living conditions. They will also collect the heart of the island, and constantly integrate and absorb them to create a super island as their home. The treasure chest flowing down the river now makes Sube speculate that there is a super island of wood elves in the origin region of the ocean current. This news is good and bad. 17 In the follow-up, if Sube wants to achieve greater development, he can completely control the island and go upstream to the home of the wood elves. If you can make friends with wood elves, there is no need to worry about the benefits. There's a bit of risk here, though. Because the elves are handsome in appearance, they are often regarded as capture targets by other races. The human island owner did this too, capturing the elves for his own enjoyment. Therefore, the attitude of the elves to humans is somewhat hostile. Sube wants to befriend the wood elves and has to be cautious. But anyway, this is overall good news. Concentrating his mind, Sube looked at the horned eagle egg in his hand, thinking about how to hatch it. Check the information. Need the right temperature. That's fine. Build a warm shed, and then call 2 light spirits to be responsible for the incubation work. So far, all the treasure chests that have been floating have been opened. It can't be said that he became rich overnight, but it also made Sube gain a lot. The most valuable thing is to know the news of the wood elves. When he came to the beach to check the situation, Sube saw that the sea had basically recovered. The remains of the previous body had drifted away with the ocean currents, and the smell of blood in the air was not so obvious. After patrolling the newly added land for 2 laps, it was quiet and dull under the sea. The sharks swam all the way, wreaking havoc on their path. Not to mention the sea fish that are not aggressive. Even the lizard sea snake will be swallowed up. At least tonight, there is no need to worry about the invasion of monsters. Although the processing of the battlefield has not been completely completed, Sube still issued a rest order. It's the same when it's dawn. Don't be in a hurry at this time. Early in the morning, Sube walked out of the villa. Augur was handling the shark with the dragon sword. The skins, meat, offal and bones are neatly placed next to them. It was the material for the 10 bronze-grade sharks that Sube had previously explained. After picking up some black iron shark materials to supplement, Sube contacted Shen Kingaling. Shen Kingaling saw the materials on the trading column and knew that Sube had a lot of harvest last night. After accepting the materials, Shen Kingaling asked, "Is there any extra materials to sell? I'll give you the highest price." Sube actually has this plan too. Although shark skin is not top-notch in defense, it is more flexible and docile. It is an excellent material for making inner armor. However, there is only one craftsman like Augur on Sube Island, and he has to build a nether energy cannon, so it is too late to process so many materials. So Sube intends to sell most of the materials and convert them into actual combat power. Sube quickly replied, "Sell, prepare me the fruit of power, I want to expand the number of power users." 55 Shen Kingaling knew that Sube had set up a company in Blue Star and that he was recruiting candidates for abilities, so he was not surprised by this answer. After thinking for a while, Shen Kingaling asked, "What level do you want? If you are only on Blue Star for the time being, then E level or even F level is enough." 5 In this regard, Sube has already made arrangements. There are still 5 times for his entry to be fixed today, 4 of which are used to fix the entry of the ability user, and the remaining 1 is for backup. With the 4 new abilities, the island added 2, and the other 2 stayed at Blue Star. As for what grade of supernatural fruit to use, it is naturally D grade. E-class and F-class are really unnecessary, and it's not that they can't afford that money. Sube sent a channel to Shen Kingaling. All of them use D-level fruits. What attributes does the special team have? 55 There are regular attributes, similar to wind, fire, water, soil and mine. As for rare attributes, there are not many, and it is more troublesome to apply. It's okay, the regular attributes are enough. I will find you when I determine the type. 99 Ahem. It's not that I doubt your strength, it's that you buy so many supernatural fruits. How are you going to pay? It doesn't make much sense if you use plants to offset the bill. Sube took a picture of the silver level sea snake and steel hammer shark and sent it to Shen Qingling. Are these two enough? Enough, completely enough. Even enough for you to pull up a 10-man team. Shen Qingling did not expect that Sube would kill 2 silver-level monsters without a sound. I thought it was the limit for him to kill bronze-level monsters. Unexpectedly, I still underestimated him. After seeing Shen Qingling's information, Sube then asked, "Does the special team have any armor maker?" In addition to paying for the supernatural fruit, the 2 silver-level monsters helped me make 8 sets of leather armor. Materials are handmade. 35 Shen Qingling made a quick calculation and gave the answer. If the average awakening of the power user you recruit consumes within 7 power fruits, then there is no need to make up the difference. Afterwards, Shen Qingling explained, if you want to make silver-grade materials into suitable equipment, you need a high-level ability person to make a move, and the manual cost is relatively high. This plan, Sube is approved. As for 598 sets of leather armor, it was prepared for him, Du Ling, Zhuan Menyu, Augur, and the 4 power users who were about to be replenished. Although the equipment made by Augur has the effect of equipment empowerment, the efficiency is too low. And silver-level leather armor, the basic attributes are completely sufficient. It is better to let Aug concentrate on building the nether energy cannon. That's the big killer. As for the materials promised to Augur, just kill 2 more silver-level monsters, it's not a big problem. After finishing the chat with Shen Qingling, Sube brought Zhuan Menyu over and said, "I'll go back to Blue Star with you later." Zhuan Menyu immediately understood the meaning and said, "No problem. Just let the island owner see the results of my work during this period." Sube nodded, "I can trust your ability to do things." Then, came to the pool to find the mermaid Eleanor. "My lord." Eleanor swam over and then landed directly. Her fishtails turned into legs, and when she walked, her feet were supported by blisters, which were isolated from the ground. Sube had never seen mermaids before, but he knew their abilities, so he was not too surprised, and said directly, "Eleanor, I need you to tame some sea creatures and set up defenses around the island." 9 Eleanor immediately replied, "My lord, rest assured, our mermaid family is the best at this matter." "Very well, you are on the edge of the island, don't go too far." Sube gave an order, and then called Zhuan Menyu. Time to go back to Blue Star again. Advertisement Chapter 103 Brothers. To be honest, it has been 3 days since Sube asked Zhuan Menyu to return to Blue Star to establish the company, but he never went to check the progress. Actually there is nothing to see. The current company is simply an empty shell. And Zhuan Menyu was too embarrassed to ask Sube to go back to Blue Star to review because of the slow progress of recruiting candidates for abilities. In fact, Zhuan Menyu didn't think about it carefully. For Sube, there is no so-called psychic candidate. He chooses people based on the entry. However, Sube didn't tell Zhuan Menyu about this. She just let her decide. It's not that she can't believe Zhuan Menyu. But Sube knew that because of the existence of the island world, many means that only existed in imagination have become reality. For example, soul searching and memory reading. While thinking about it, Sube and Zhuan Menyu were teleported to a certain office in Zhang. This is the company's president's office, specially prepared for Sube. And Zhuan Menyu's office is next door. Zhuan Menyu introduced from the side, "Island owner, the company currently has a total of 100 ordinary employees, and 6 candidates for ability candidates. Are you calling for candidates for ability candidates now?" Sube waved his hand, "Call them all over and gather in the lobby." By the way, our company has a lobby. Sube was a little shy when he said this. Because he is still the boss of the company. He doesn't even know what his company looks like. It's too comfortable to slap the hand over the shopkeeper. Zhuan Menyu had no idea. In her eyes, Sube was busy with all kinds of affairs. How could she trouble Sube with this trivial matter of Blue Star? After taking out the communicator and sending a message, Zhuan Menyu said, "Island Master, wait a moment, I have asked them to gather, at most 5 minutes." "Okay." Sube nodded, sat down behind the desk, felt the feeling of being a boss, and then said, "The sharks on the island will be decomposed today, the shark skin will be preserved first, and those fish meat will be transported back and processed." Equipment? Those are bronze and dark iron sharks, and their flesh is popular on Blue Star. In the island world, Sube had other means to cut off the apprentice island owner's leaks, and it was not bad for that bit of meat, so it would be better for Juan Menaiu to take it back to Blue Star to deal with it. It's also about getting the company up and running. And Juan Menaiu did not disappoint Sube, and quickly replied, back to the island owner, "Yes, the company has 2 food production lines that can be put into operation at any time." Taking advantage of the waiting time, Juan Menaiu continued to introduce, "Island owner, the company's preliminary plan covers food, medicine, beauty and other branches, and the raw materials can be obtained from the island. The relevant procedures have been completed and the equipment is ready." Sube praised, "The efficiency is quite high." Juan Menaiu replied, "Island owner, I directly acquired a bankrupt company and reorganized it, so it was so fast." 5 Bankrupt? Yes, the original owner of this company was the official island owner, but he lost contact in the island world. Sube nodded knowingly. The island owner is probably dead. From the time point of view, it is very likely to perish in the storm. After asking some related questions, Sube was very satisfied. Although it has only been a few days, Juan Menaiu has basically handled everything in place. With so many sharks harvested this time around, the food sector can run and learn from it. As long as the island starts to produce stable output, the company can be completely formalized. During the conversation, Juan Menaiu received the news, and the company personnel completed the assembly. The two walked out of the office, walked down 1 floor, came to the lobby, and saw all the employees of the company. Now the company is small, with more than 100 employees. The 6 at the front of the team are full of energy and are obviously candidates for abilities. Juan Menaiu took 2 steps forward and said, "This is the boss of the company, the first new king to become a trainee island owner this year." Thunderous applause. Sube thought that it would be a little early to put him on the title of a newcomer king. It takes about 20 days to determine the first monthly rookie king. Juan Menaiu went on to say, "This time the island owner comes back to select suitable personnel to replenish the island." 35 Hearing this, the employees below were all excited and looked at Sube with fiery eyes, eager to rush to show their talents. The 6 candidates for superhuman abilities even straightened their backs, raising their spirits to the highest level. This is their chance. Sube swept his eyes and said, "I have my own method for selecting people, even if they are not candidates for abilities. There are still opportunities." The employees below were even more excited. Sube looked at Juan Menaiu and said, "Let them come to the office in groups of 5. Having said that, Sube returned directly to the office upstairs. The selection is actually simple, just brush the entry. But this is not enough to pretend to be forceful enough to reflect his sense of mystery. Juan Menaiu arranged candidates in the lobby. Sube sat in the boss chair in the office, found a pair of sunglasses on the table, and put it on decisively. More mysterious. "The arrangement is perfect," Sube muttered, and heard a knock on the door. Enter. 5 Employees walked in, lined up, and their expressions were somewhat restrained. It was the first time they met the big boss of the company, but they had heard too much about it. Unbeknownst to Sube, his reputation in Xiang is actually quite high. This is inseparable from the vigorous publicity of the city owner. And in the process of publicizing this thing, word of mouth, there will always be a little deviation. Now these 5 employees feel a lot of pressure. Sube was very calm, his eyes swept away, and the refresh was completed in an instant. Blue sky and white clouds, very general. "You can go out." While speaking, Sube sent a message to Juan Menaiu, "Substitution." The 5 employees were at a loss. "Have you started yet? It has ended." Outrageous. But they didn't dare to say much. After all, Sube was not only the boss of the company, but also the owner of the island, and his status was not comparable to ordinary people like them. In addition, These few people are not candidates for abilities, but ordinary employees. They didn't expect to be selected, and they quickly adjusted their mentality and left. A short time later, the second group of employees knocked on the door again and entered the office, and were invited out 5 seconds later. The third batch, the fourth batch. After seeing several batches of employees in a row, no suitable entry appeared. A rare level is considered a small probability event. Linus, Sube wrote down the names of several employees, and then continued to refresh. He didn't believe it anymore. These hundreds of people would not even have an excellent entry. Next batch. 99. Sube messaged Juan Meniu again. Another 5 people walked in, with twin brothers inside, with resolute and calm faces. Sube thought for a while and said, "I remember that you two are candidates for powers." The 2 brothers immediately saluted and returned, back to the island owner. "Yes. What is your name?" "Zheng Wen." 35. Zheng Wu. Good name. While speaking, Sube swiped. 2 excellent entries. Looking at it again, Sube was even more shocked. Good guy, worthy of being a brother. Even the entry is the same. Communication of mind, excellent level. Strengthen the ability to cooperate in combat, make cooperation more subtle. Seeing the brother's entry, Sube made an immediate decision. The power users who sit on the blue star are the ones who are in trouble. Advertisement Chapter 104 Sisters. Although the entire company's employees have not been completely refreshed, the 2 brothers, Zheng Wen and Zheng Wu, must have fixed entries. They are brothers themselves, and with the addition of the common minds entry, they can fully exert the combat power of 1 + 1 greater than 2. However, Sube did not rush to fix it, but said, "Zheng Wen and Zheng Wu stay, and the other 3 can go down." Although the other 3 employees were somewhat dissatisfied, they did not dare to say anything and could only leave. In addition, it doesn't matter if you are not selected this time, there will be opportunities in the future. But if you talk back to the big boss and get kicked out of the company, then there is really no chance of half a dime. The 2 brothers Zheng Wen and Zheng Wu blushed with excitement, and sat down on the sofa next to them, not looking sideways. To be honest, they still haven't figured out how they were selected. But it doesn't matter. They were chosen, and that was enough. Another new batch of employees walked into the office and was called out 5 seconds later. The process starts to repeat. Staff went in and out, but no new staff were left. According to Juan Meniu's report, only the last batch is left. During this process, brothers Zheng Wen and Zheng Wu observed by the side and saw the other 4 candidates for abilities. They were even invited out. At that time, the 2 brothers were a little confused. This is how 593 was chosen. The other 4 candidates for ability users are also confused. Are they a loser? However, Sube did not have the habit of explaining to others, so he asked them to step down and asked Juan Meniu to call in the last batch of employees. There are 6 people this time. And there is another pair of twins, sisters. Sube didn't care too much, and refreshed directly. If there are no good entries, there is not much value. But in the next second, his vision was attracted by 2 purple entry light balls. Coincidentally, it was the twin sisters. Are brothers and sisters more likely to produce high-grade entries? Sube thought to himself. If this is the case, it may be necessary to start in this direction in the future. However, the data samples are too small to have much reference value. We can only wait for Juan Meniu to continue to expand the scale of the company and conduct tests when the number of personnel is increased in the future. Collecting his thoughts, Sube looked at the 2 epic entries. Flame Will, epic. Triple the effect of fire-related abilities. Heart of Frost, epic level, triple the effect of ice power. These 2 entries are very similar to Du Ling's Death Saints. Sube seriously doubted whether the system was lazy and modified it directly by applying the template of Death Saints. BHCF, content rating. Sube looked at the sisters. Their appearance is quite outstanding, almost the level of full marks. They look exactly the same. Basically there is no difference. However, in terms of temperament, A clear difference can be seen. A strong character with sharp eyes. The other one has the meaning of rejecting people thousands of miles away. It is very in line with their entry attributes. Sube waved the other four away, looked at the twin sisters and asked, "What are your names?" Lin, Xiaoyun. Lin, Xiu. Well, good name. 35 brothers Zhengwen and Zhengwu, who were sitting on the side, suddenly became enlightened. The big boss of his own family seems to have a good name for everyone. There was a knock on the door. Zhuan Minyu walked in and said, "Island owner, all the staff have seen it. Are these four the final candidates?" "5, that's right." Sube nodded, then asked, "Tell me about their situation." "Yes." Zhuan Minyu walked up to Sube and talked eloquently. Zheng Wen and Zheng Wu, they were newcomers the year before and became apprentice island owners, but they were broken into the heart of the island in the subsequent development. Among the 6 candidates for abilities, this pair of brothers has the best performance and the highest overall score. Lin Xiaoyun and Lin Xiu, last year's newcomers, failed to become apprentice island owners. They are not candidates for supernatural powers. They were hired as pharmacology consultants. Sube wondered, "Pharmacology consultant?" "Yes." Zhuan Minyu nodded. "They have unique insights into the preparation of medicines." 99 Sube did not expect that the twin sisters have quite good talents. In the era of exploration, due to the existence of special plants in the island world, the medicine of Blue Star has undergone great changes. How to mix and match special plants with Blue Star plants has become a project that all major forces are studying. It seemed that Zhuan Minyu had worked hard to recruit the Lin sisters. After understanding the general situation, Sube looked at the 4 of them and said, "Brothers Zhengwen and Zhengwu, aside for the time being, since you have chosen to come to our company to be candidates for abilities, then you also know the corresponding conditions." Zheng Wen and Zhengwu stood up and said solemnly, "Understood, we will swear loyalty and fight for the island owner." 95 Very good. Sube nodded. "Sit down, don't be so restrained." Immediately, Sube looked at the Lin family sisters. Their entry is good, but if they don't want to be a power user, then Sube won't force it. There are as many candidates as you want, so why bother yourself? After Lin Xiaoyun and Lin Xiu noticed Sube's gaze, they immediately stated, "Boss, we want to become superhumans." 35 Later, the elder sister Lin Xiaoyun explained, "Boss, we are born with insufficiency and cannot receive high-intensity training. The reason why we study pharmacology is to gain appreciation in this way and become a supernatural person." Sube understood immediately. Guys, the curve saves the country. Since you have this will, then I will fulfill you. Sube said, "The 4 of you, I will not take all of you to the island world. Zhengwen and Zhengwu, you will be here in the future to be responsible for the company's security." "Yes." Zheng Wen and Zhengwu did not hesitate and immediately agreed. Compared with the power entry of the Lin family sisters, Zhengwen and Zhengwu's entry has little support for battle, and it is not very effective for them to land on the island. It is better to stay in Blue Star and better guard the company. This is also a very important base. Sube didn't want to have a foothold at Blue Star, so the fun would be great. As for the subsequent level upgrade of the Zheng brothers, it is not a big problem to absorb the magic energy crystals. While thinking, Sube fixed the entries of the 4. Ding. The entry has been fixed. The target loyalty has been fixed at 199. The 4 of them looked at Sube, and they were instantly filled with fanatical admiration. By including the Zheng brothers and the Lin sisters as island residents, Sube once again received a warning from the island world. This time, 4 candidates have been added, and they are about to become superpowers. In addition to the high star rating of the island itself, there will be many challenges to face in the future. But Sube is ready for battle. After bringing the 4 into the range, Sube opened the teleportation and returned to the island world. They have to complete the awakening on the island, and then the Zheng brothers will return to Blue Star. When they came to the island, the 4 were immediately shocked by the huge island in front of them. It's only been a few days since this year's newcomer arrived, and the boss's island has grown to such a large scale. When the 4 of them saw Unger and the Flower Fairy, They were even more shocked and speechless. They all recruited the native race. As expected of the first newcomer to become a trainee island owner this year, the strength of the boss is completely beyond their imagination. The Zheng brothers and the Lin sisters were very excited at the thought of being able to serve under such a strong man in the future. Today is really their lucky day. Su Bei didn't think too much about it and contacted Shen Qingling directly. I need the power fruits of the soil, fire and ice types. Advertisement Chapter 105 Awakening, Eleanor's Turtle Squad. Regarding the selection of the power attributes of Zheng Wen and others, Su Bei has also decided. The Lin family sisters must have awakened fire type and ice type abilities according to the entry, and there is nothing to adjust. Even if the fire type ability will be suppressed in the island world, but with the blessing of the entry, it can still exert a strong combat power. On the other hand, Zheng Wen and Zheng Wu's abilities are more diverse. In the end, Su Bei decided to choose the soil type. This is a defense-oriented ability, which is also in line with the positioning of Blue Star Corporation. In the early stage, it is necessary to play steadily. In addition, although the situation in Blue Star is surging, it still maintains peace on the bright side. Earth-type abilities are relatively low-key, and the possibility of being noticed is lower. While thinking about it, Shen Qingling sent 3 photos of supernatural fruit, along with relevant data. Thick soil fruit, silver middle grade, eating has a chance to awaken D-level soil type abilities, with a heavy effect exploding flame fruit, high grade silver, edible has a chance to awaken D-level fire type power, with burst effect ice fruit extract, silver middle grade, eating has a chance to awaken D-level ice powers, with a freezing effect. Shen Qingling sent a message. For the sake of cost, I suggest to complete the awakening first, and then add new power effects later. 35 Su Bei replied, yes, this is a very good suggestion. Give me 10 Hachigo, and 5 each of Bin Yano and Ice Apple. It's not enough to say. It is good. After a while, Shen Qingling placed 20 supernatural fruits on the trading bar, and Su Bei also placed the corpses of the steel hammer shark and the silver sea snake. The corpses of the hammer shark and sea snake were piled up like 2 hills, and they could be teleported away with a swish. Su Bei called Zheng Wen and the 4 of them and said, Zheng Wen and Zheng Wu, you guys use thick soil fruit, Lin Xia ion bursting flaming fruit, and Lin Xiu ice extracting fruit. 4. This arrangement, the 4 have no opinion. They also don't ask why. Anyway, Su Bei arranged it so, and they did it. The awakening process, Su Bei also witnessed twice. The 4 awakened at the same time, and this was the first time they had seen each other. However, he knew that as the special plants on his island continue to mature and bear fruit, he would soon add new abilities. For example, a fruit tree with light. According to past experience, a fruit tree with light can bear more than a dozen fruits. As long as there is a suitable entry, the probability of completing the awakening of 2 power users is very high. Before the fruit tree with light, the sunflower will mature first. Unlike the fruit tree with light, the sunflowers on Su Bei Island are full, and the number of psychics that can be cultivated will be considerable. At that time, it is not possible for 4 people to awaken at the same time, but it is possible for 10 or even 20 people. While thinking, Lin Xia Ion and Lin Xiu's sisters completed their awakening first. Like Du Ling, they both awakened after eating 4 supernatural fruits. On the other hand, Zheng Wen and Zheng Wu are different. The 2 brothers blushed with shame and wished to jump into the sea on the spot. Su Bei didn't care much. What is this? It's good to wake up. It is always much stronger than those dozens of supernatural fruits that go down without any movement. But according to Su Bei's calculations, as long as the entry is fixed, the probability of awakening is considerable. Here, the power of the system played a big role. Also, Su Bei asked the 2 brothers. Although the awakening has not been completed, it is already standing on the threshold, and 2 or 3 more will be successful. The supernatural fruit that the sisters of the Lin family helped him save was just used to make up for the gap between the brothers of the Zheng family. They went to Shen Qingling and took 5 thick soil fruits. After the Zheng brothers consumed 2 each, they also completed their awakening. With the 3 extra power fruits in his hand, after thinking for a moment, Su Bei awakened and asked Zheng Wen and Zheng Wu to bring back the blue star. Just put it in the company and show it to the employees under it, so that they have more energy. Su Bei suddenly felt that he had the potential to be a black-hearted boss. Du Ling was called to instruct the four of them to practice their supernatural abilities, while Su Bei found out the magic island coordinate jade ultimatum that was opened from the treasure chest last night. 2 pieces in total. They are low-grade bronze and middle-grade bronze, respectively, and the duration of the open passage is 4 hours. As long as you move fast enough, you can completely evacuate the opposite magical island without even a blade of grass. However, considering the previous exploration experience, Su Bei felt that it was necessary to bring more people over this time. The first 2 times he went to the demonized island, the coordinates were black iron, and all the enemies he encountered were bronze. By analogy, if you go to the enchanted island this time, there is an 80% chance of encountering a silver-level enemy. The risk is more than doubled. But Su Bei is still ready to go. It doesn't matter if the risk is high, the benefit is definitely greater. Considering that the enemy might appear at the silver level, Du Ling and Zhuan Menyu, who were at the black iron level, would definitely not be able to participate in the battle. Gotta bring Og and Eleanor the mermaid. They cooperate with the rock soldiers and are responsible for defending the transmission channel to prevent the enemy from invading the island. Su Bei felt that it was necessary to increase the cultivation of power users. In addition, other means should also be used to increase the island's defense capabilities. For example, find a gathering place of native races, and use fixed entries to gain the loyalty of each other. However, in this method, we must find that kind of small ethnic group, preferably those who live on the island. In this way, the hidden danger can be eliminated. Su Bei didn't want to use this method unless he had to. He has obtained the professional inheritance of the slaughtering samurai, and also has the entry, killing god, and it is easy to fight in the 2 ranks. But the base level is too low. Ask for flowers. The black iron is the top level, and there is a gap of 18,000 miles from the real powerhouses in the island world. Acting too high profile, easy to overturn. While thinking about it, Eleanor came from a distance and said, "My lord, I have already tamed 3 blue water heavy water turtles according to your instructions. Come over and have a look." Su Bei was very excited. This is really good news. He almost forgot about Eleanor. With this mermaid, the island's defenses will advance by leaps and bounds. And it will not increase the chance of the island being noticed by monsters, which can be said to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Eleanor called twice, and there were dull footsteps in the distance. As soon as he heard the news, Su Bei knew that the Baitao heavy water turtle was not small. Eleanor said from the side, "My lord, because of the shark group, there are not many creatures that can be found in the nearby waters, and there are only these 3 turtles for the time being. In addition, the level of creatures I can tame cannot exceed my own level, and I cannot help my lord more. I am ashamed." Su Bei waved his hand. "Don't blame yourself, you have to believe in your own strength." Speaking of this, Su Bei smiled wryly and said, "Look at our island. Is there anyone who is higher in rank than you?" Eleanor was speechless. It seems that is the case. However, she looked at Su Bei and remembered the scene where the bubble burst with a punch before, and praised sincerely, "My lord, in fact, our strength is secondary, and with you, the island is truly foolproof." During Su Bei's return to Blue Istar, Eleanor catches turtles on the shore and gets important news from Og and Alvina. This island owner can kill a silver-level monster with a black iron-level strength. At that time, Eleanor was shocked. It was even once suspected that Su Bei was formed from a giant dragon. Otherwise, where would such terrifying power come from? While speaking, 3 huge turtles crawled over from a distance. The carapace was nearly 2 meters in diameter, and looked indestructible. Name: Baitao heavy water turtle level, bronze intermediate skills, 1, tortoise armor defense 2, toughness 3, heavy water impact description, a sea turtle known for its defensive power, gentle in temperament. Su Bei's expression became more and more joyful. 3 bronze mid-level blue water turtles, it can be said to be timely rain. They usually cruise around the island and report to Eleanor after discovering the traces of the demonized creatures. If there is a battle, You can also join the battle and become a reliable partner. With the thickness of this turtle shell, ordinary monsters can't move at all. Tsubei looked at Eleanor, and his expression became more and more satisfied. If there are more mermaids, it will take off. Advertisement Chapter 106, The Lifeless Magical Island. In fact, Eleanor's ability is far more than controlling 3 turtles. Mermaids themselves will tame various sea creatures as a supplement to their combat power. In addition, Eleanor has fixed the entry of Ocean Covenant, and the taming skills have been strengthened. The number of creatures she can control is several times that of other mermaids. But the problem is that the surrounding waters were basically swept away due to the shark swarm last night. There are no sea creatures, so how tame Eleanor? She can't change it out of thin air. It was a stroke of luck to be able to find these 3 Baitao heavy water turtles. It is also thanks to the super defense of these 3 turtles that they survived under the shark group. But now, it's all cheap. Tsubei. The bronze intermediate blue water heavy water turtle has a very powerful supplementary effect on the ensuing exploration of the enchanted island. Tsubei's tactics are simple. He went to cut 597 to turn over all the enemies on the demonized island, and the others were responsible for guarding the transmission channel. Originally, I was worried that the defensive combination of Og and Eleanor and the rock soldiers would be a little thin. But now, with the addition of 3 big turtles, it is immediately powerful. With joy on his face, Tsubei looked at Eleanor and praised, "Good job." Eleanor bowed and saluted. "It is my honor to be able to help my lord." Eleanor went on to say, "My lord, the ocean currents are endless. In 2 days at most, new schools of fish will come along with the ocean currents, and more partners will be able to be tamed by then. 4 mermaids, the fish, shrimp, crab and turtle they tame are not just fighting servants, but also their partners." And this news also made Tsubei very satisfied. The defense system he envisages is gradually improving, but it will take a little time. The main reason is that the sharks are too ruthless, and no grass grows wherever they pass. I can't even find the small shrimps that are as long as fingers. This time the shark group ran wild. In addition to a large number of sharks hunting recklessly, there are also many marine creatures who fish in troubled waters. They carried out a second cleaning of the sea area and took away the fish that slipped through the net. After gathering his thoughts, Tsubei said to Eleanor, "We will explore the enchanted island later, and let these 3 turtles participate." "As you wish, my lord." While speaking, Jingwen and the 4 came together. "Lord Island Master, we have initially mastered the use of powers, thanks to the guidance of Senior Du Ling." "Very good." Tsubei nodded, and then began to assign tasks. "Jingwen and Jingwu, you 2 will return to Blue Star with the cut shark meat. Let the food factory run, and the company's safety will be left to you." 35 Yes. Jingwen and Jingwu clenched his fists and slapped his chest, indicating that he would definitely complete the task. Tsubei looked at sisters Lin Xiaoyun and Lin Xiu. "You stay on the island, follow Du Ling first, but don't relax in pharmacology, communicate with Alvina more. The flower fairy's nectar wine recipe may inspire you. In fact, at a certain level, nectar wine is a kind of medicine. The Lin family sisters and Alvina will have a lot of common topics." "As you order, Island Master." 35 Naturally, the Lin family sisters would not object. Being able to stay on the island is their dream. The Zheng brothers returned to Blue Star with shark meat, and Zhuan Menaiu went with them to formulate a sales strategy to obtain higher income. Tsubei is very relieved that this matter is handed over to her. The Nog was called over. "It's time to explore the magic island. I haven't been there for a few days, and I miss it." Hager heard that he was going to fight, and he didn't even want to forge the nether energy gun, so he rushed over with a hammer. Du Ling and the Lin family sisters stayed on the island, and the rest went to explore with me. Tsubei looked around, then crushed the coordinate jade of the lower bronze grade. The turbulent energy spewed out, forming a huge transmission channel in the open space. Looking at the specifications of this passage, you can see that the scale of the enchanted island on the opposite side is definitely not small. 3 Baitao heavy water turtles passed through the passage first. After waiting for a moment, Eleanor said, "No attack." 5 only. Then did Subei take Eleanor and Og through the passage. When his vision was restored, Subei immediately noticed the unusualness of this enchanted island. Too quiet. No noise at all. The 3 heavy water turtles spread out in the open space ahead, scratching the ground a little restlessly. Eleanor frowned and said, "It feels really uncomfortable." Holding the hammer, Augur glanced at the surrounding environment with alert eyes, and agreed, "That's right, the smell here is really unpleasant." Subei didn't feel much. However, Augur and Eleanor are native races. They are more sensitive to the changes in the island world, and they may be able to detect subtle differences. But there is something wrong with the current situation. As far as Subei can see, all are black rock formations, not even grass, just like the lizard island before. And they have passed through the passage for so long, and no demonized monsters have come to attack. Subei's heart skipped a beat. Damn it, there must be a dead island. It's not impossible. After all, the vast ocean and countless islands, who knows what's going on above. It is also possible to encounter abandoned islands. After pondering for a moment, Subei said, "You defend on the spot, I will go to other places to see." Although this island looks barren, it is at least not small in size. Calculated from the field of vision, it is 2 circles larger than the island of Subei. Such a large island, if it is said to be deserted, it is deserted? There must be a reason. What Subei has to do is to find out why. Determined that there is no danger, start searching for valuables. Most of the special plants are hopeless, and they can only start from other angles. Although Augur and Eleanor were worried about Subei's safety, they also knew that it was equally important to guard the teleportation channel behind them, so they could only say, "Islander, be careful." Subei waved his hand, walked quickly with the dragon Yin sword in hand, and quickly disappeared around the corner. After walking several hundred meters in a row, Subei didn't find half an enemy. Not even half a blade of grass. The previous lizard island still had a few patches of moss anyway. There is not even moss here. Subei's heart skipped a beat. This island looks desolate. Does it mean that there are mineral veins underground? Likely. 2.5 However, let Og see how he can detect auras. At the speed of Subei's travel, he soon came to the other end of the island. Still no enemy found. Again, no weeds were found. Yeah. It's really just that grass that doesn't grow. Subei muttered. In the corner of his eyes, he found that there was a flash in the corner. Walk over and kick away the surface dirt. Subei was startled. Good guy, Yashi. And it's that big. It was even bigger than the secluded stone he found on the enchanted island before. The secluded stone, which made dogs so excited that he couldn't even eat it, was thrown into the corner so casually and covered in the sand. Subei suddenly had a foreboding. The Black Island at the foot is not an island, but a treasure mountain. Advertisement Chapter 107 The Origin of the Island. Subei did not rashly move this secluded stone. This thing is too corrosive. If you want to carry it, you need a box made of magic sealing stone and special gloves. If you grab it empty-handed, there is a high probability of being injured. Speaking of which, does the demon slayer warrior profession that I inherited have natural restraint against demonic energy? Subei secretly said. While thinking about it, he stretched out his hand and picked up a corner of the secluded stone on the ground. There is a slight tingling in the fingertips. The negative energy in the secluded stone wanted to pierce his skin and invade his flesh. But was blocked. Under the skin, there is a layer of holy power flowing, opposing the aura of the secluded stone, and firmly occupying the upper hand. Seeing this situation, Subei knew that he had initially possessed the potential to be invincible. Holding the secluded stone in his hand and playing with it, Subei continued to explore the island. In fact, there is nothing to explore. He turned a half circle and found nothing but stones all over the ground. Moreover, the terrain of this island is simple, the middle is high and the surrounding is low, like a small hill. Subei climbed to a high place and overlooked the entire island, and saw Og and Eleanor, who were on guard before the teleportation passage. This island, only a few of them can breathe, plus 3 turtles. The remaining 17 are dead rocks. Carrying the secluded stone all the way to the entrance of the passage, Subei said, "There are no enemies on the island." As soon as Augur was about to speak, his eyes were attracted by the secluded stone in Subei's hand, and his expression was suddenly wonderful. Yaoshi, can you grab it with your hands? It can be caught, but at least it must be a gold-level powerhouse. Islander, it is really unfathomable. Augur gave a thumbs up in admiration, and then said, Islander, I feel that there is something wrong with this island. Eleanor also nodded in agreement. I think so too. It seems that no living body has come here for a long time. Whether it is a demonized creature or a native race, there is none. For this conclusion, Subei agrees. He observed all the way and came to the same conclusion. After pondering for a moment, Subei said, Og, please feel the island under your feet to see if there are mineral veins. Og slapped his forehead and said ashamedly, I was looking for enemies, and I almost forgot my housekeeping skills. It's not your fault. After all, this island is indeed a problem. Subei smiled and said, be cautious. 5. The island owner is wise. Augur grabbed a pinch of soil from the ground and put it in his palm, hesitated for a moment, and finally didn't taste it. But just by looking at the soil quality and color, he could see a lot of information. Coupled with the unique aura perception ability of dwarves. Augur quickly came to a conclusion. The island owner, this island, is a huge piece of meteorite iron. 99. I don't know when it fell. I'm afraid it's not a short time. In the island world, meteorite iron almost means meteorite. But there is a big difference. The main reason is that there is aura in the island world, which is a natural super protective cover. Much stronger than the atmosphere of Blue Star. Anything that falls from the void will burn up halfway. Only meteorite iron that has broken through the aura shield can be called meteorite iron. The characteristics of this aura are high temperature resistance and strong buffering effect on energy bursts. Otherwise, it will not fall into the island world. However, the meteorite iron that usually appears is basically the size of a fist, and most of them disintegrate during the landing process. But now, the huge island under his feet is actually made of meteorite iron. This news shocked Subei a little. Man, how much does this cost? However, such a big lump of meteorite iron, which landed here, was not mined by native races or demonized creatures. Somewhat incredible. After all, the biggest use of meteorite iron is to cast energy cannons. Can withstand higher intensity bursts of energy, thereby increasing shelling damage. This thing is a strategic material everywhere. Impossible to be idle. Unless, when this piece of meteorite iron landed, the island world was in a turbulent era, and all ethnic groups were precarious and had no energy to mine. Then time passed, and the record about this meteorite iron was lost. Everyone forgot there was such a thing. Although it is very twisty and bizarre, this is the most reasonable explanation. Eleanor also thought of this, and said, this piece of meteorite iron was estimated to have landed 10,000 years ago. Augur agreed, even earlier. Subei clapped his hands and said, don't worry about when this island was formed. Now think about how to mine the meteorite iron. That thing is not easy to get. Speaking of this, Augur was a little dumbfounded. He suddenly found that the problems he was facing now were somewhat unsolvable. Meteorite iron has a very strong buffering ability for energy bursts. Even with the explosive spar of the island world, it cannot be blasted. You can only use the most primitive method, take a mining pick and knock it slowly. But the problem is that there is a time limit for them to come here. It's just 4 hours. How much can be knocked down when it's full? As a dwarf, facing such a huge meteorite iron but unable to mine, Aug's heart will be broken. And Eleanor, as a mermaid, doesn't even know how to mine. Subei is also a little blind. Do you want to enter Baoshan but come back empty-handed? Oh, can't quite say that either. At least a piece of secluded stone was picked up. But compared to the island-sized meteorite iron, this secluded stone seemed insignificant. The three looked at each other. After thinking for a while, Subei said, Og, you found the thinnest rock formation at 597 squares, and I cut it with the Longian knife, and I can always cut off a few pieces. Eleanor, you search the island to see if there are other secluded stones, or similar ores. Since this island was formed by the fall of meteorite iron, then the original impact is very likely to knock up the ore deep in the ground, and this secluded stone is the evidence. Following Subei's words, Augur and Eleanor immediately found the direction of action and split up. Subei sent the rock soldiers to act with Eleanor, and at the same time called the jewel cat. Putting Yaoshi in front of the gem cat and shaking it, Subei said, "Go and help Eleanor find this thing." The first secluded stone was found by the gem cat, and it would not be wrong to let it do this. The gem cat meowed a few times, obviously very upset. When it was sleeping on the island, it was pulled over to do white labor. However, Subei's order had the highest priority, and the gem cat could only jump on the rock soldier's head and wandered around the island. During this period, Augur also found a suitable location. Subei walked over, rolled up his sleeves, and looked at the Longian sword in his hand. "Old man, stand up." 35 After all, he mobilized all his strength and slashed down towards the ground. The gravel splashed, revealing the black iron ore with silver-white starlight underneath. This is meteorite iron. Advertisement Chapter 108 Cut out a star iron tiger. Islander, come on. Island, Master Mighty. Subei was chopping stones frantically with the dragon yin sword in his hand, and Aug was cheering him up beside him. However, as a dwarf, Augur looks like a rough man, and he really can't let Subei have too much energy. Even wanted to go on strike. Resisting the thought of kicking Fog, Subei said, "Shut up." "Oh." Augur complied immediately. Then I felt that I couldn't do it alone, so I returned to the island and took 2 hammers from the blacksmith shop, transferred to a miner on the spot, and smashed it with a bang. With little success. Meteorite iron not only has a strong buffering effect on energy, but it is also very tough and extremely difficult to mine. Although Augur has the strength of a bronze subordinate, it is still not realistic to want to quickly mine meteorite iron. However, he spent a lot of effort here, and was sweating profusely before he knocked off the meteorite iron that was the size of his head. Subei had already cut out more than a dozen pieces. Seeing this, Augur began to doubt life. Who said the dwarves are proficient in mining? Total bullshit. He is no match for Subei, who is human. Seeing that Subei stopped to take a breath, Augur quickly said, "Islander, would you like me to chop with the dragon blade for a while?" After thinking about it carefully, Augur felt that the problem might lie in the equipment gap. The Longian saber is a silver-level weapon, extremely sharp, and it is suitable for slashing meteorite iron. And the hammer in his hand is black iron grade, not the same grade at all. Subei needed to take a moment, and without objection, handed over the Longian sword. Lin Xiu handed over a bottle of iced happy water from the side at the right time. This is how she used her ice power to cool down. It can also be regarded as a practice method, which can strengthen the control accuracy of the ability. After freezing more than a dozen bottles of happy water, she finally managed to control the strength of her supernatural powers and completed this bottle of iced happy water. Subei took a gulp, feeling all the cells in his body cheering. No matter in the earth, the blue star, or the island world, the happiness brought by happy water is unchanged. Hiccup tilde exclamation mark. Subei stretched his muscles and looked at Aug next to him and almost laughed. After Augur got the Longian sword, he slashed confidently. Then doubt life. There was a loud bang, and the anti-shock force made the Longian saber almost let go. If it wasn't for Aug's quick reaction, his bushy beard would have been cut off by the dragon yin knife. "Why, it is like this." Augur looked at the Longian sword, his eyes blank. With the same weapon, in Subei's hands, chopping meteor iron is the same as chopping wood. As a result, in his hands, the effect was not even half. Augur realized the huge gap between himself and Subei again, handed the dragon yin sword back to Subei, and said, "I'd better take the hammer." 5 After saying that, he picked up the hammer and struck again. Perhaps it was a psychological effect. Augur always felt that this time it was a lot easier. This is not an illusion. But the meteor in front of him moved. With quick eyes and quick hands, Subei kicked Augur with one kick, then picked up Lin Xiu, and withdrew dozens of meters after a few lifts. Immediately staring at the suddenly moving ore, his expression was solemn. Just now, Augur slammed down with a hammer, and he didn't know what mechanism he hit. The meteorite iron actually moved. It turned into the shape of a tiger and climbed out from the ground. Name: Star Iron Tiger. Level: Silver. Lower skills: 1. Energy absorption. 2. Kinetic energy resistance. 3. Starlight Cannon. Description: a peculiar existence born from the fusion of the heart of the island entry. Refreshable. 1-1. Don't attack. 59. Subei gave the order. This thing can refresh the entry. It is simply a surprise. At first, Subei thought he had dug up a demonic creature similar to an obsidian giant. I didn't expect it to be. Being able to refresh the entry means that it can be fixed. And once the entry is fixed, this silver star iron tiger is his. Who can resist a majestic big tiger? Although this stuff is dark. However, because it is composed of meteorite iron, on the dark torso, there are constantly starlight floating, which adds a lot of color to it. Concentrating his mind, Subei refreshed directly. Although Star Iron Tiger can refresh the entry, it was woken up by a hammer just now, which made this iron lump very uncomfortable and would attack at any time. This is a Silver Star Iron Tiger, and it cannot be taken lightly. The main thing is that this guy is full of both physical and magic resistance points, and Subei can't guarantee that he will kill it in seconds. If it hurts Sorg or anyone else, it's not good. Refresh. 3. Alternative entries appear, green and blue. It's a pity that there is no epic level, but now is not the time to be picky. Subei locks the blue entry, Enlightenment, excellent level, so that Star Iron Tiger has primary wisdom, which can be improved in the future. This entry even has growth potential. But this is quite understandable. If the Star Iron Tiger has opened the intelligence, then with the continuous learning, it can also understand and master more knowledge, and will gradually upgrade to the intermediate wisdom or even the advanced wisdom. The basic level of Kaizi is not high, but it will exert a powerful effect in the future. Subei still has a fixed opportunity in his hand, and now he will not hesitate to fix it immediately. Fixed. Ding. The entry has been fixed. The target loyalty is constant at 100. At the moment when the entry was fixed, Star Iron Tiger's attacking momentum disappeared. It shook its head suspiciously, looked at Subei, and showed a personal meaning. Bang bang bang. The 4-meter-long Star Iron Tiger walked with great momentum, one step at a time. He walked up to Subei and rubbed his huge head into Subei's arms. Subei was almost knocked out. This Star Iron Tiger has just turned on his intelligence, and he still doesn't know how important it is to control it. Or, in its view, the current strength is very small. It's just that the level and body shape are there, and the kindness of the Star Iron Tiger is not something that everyone can bear. My lord, I feel a silver level aura. Is it an enemy? 99. Eleanor ran from a distance, with blisters floating all over her body, ready to attack at any time. She was looking for Yaoshi with the gem cat just now, but when she noticed that there was a strong presence here, she ran back immediately. Even if the enemy is at the silver level, she, Linu Azo, is not afraid. But when Eleanor approached, he saw a pitch-black metal tiger lying on the ground, exposing its belly to Subei, with a well-behaved look. This ... what happened? Eleanor couldn't understand the situation at all. She had only left for less than half an hour, so how could there be an extra metal tiger? Where does this come from? Og ran back from a distance. He was kicked away by Subei just now and was not injured. To be honest, if it wasn't for that kick, he would have been flattened by Xingtiu's paw. At this time, seeing Eleanor returning, he hurried over to explain the situation. Eleanor was taken aback. It turned out to be a pet that the owner of the island took, so there is no problem. Regarding Eleanor's cognition, Augur opened his mouth, not knowing how to refute. Such a low-level silver thing, you call it a pet? Not quite right. But when he turned his head and looked at the Star Iron Tiger who was playing, Augur suddenly felt that this statement seemed to be okay. Yang. Advertisement: if you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo fanfic novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 109 Yang Yen Stone. Although a star iron tiger was accidentally picked up, the mining mission is still there. Tsubei picked up the Longyan sword and slashed again. Xingtiu squatted beside him for a while and let out a low roar. Tsubei stopped what he was doing and looked at Star Tiger. Why do you ask me to cut this? Because it is useful. 99 Xingtiu was thoughtful and his expression was very smart. This is also the strength of enlightenment. Let the iron tiger with the head of the iron not have wisdom. The very first star iron tiger had been sleeping in the meteorite iron. In other words, it has no concept of falling asleep or waking up. Anyway, the group is inside the vein. Until Log gave it a hammer. Star iron tiger is the product of the combination of meteorite iron and the heart of the island, and has some characteristics of the heart of the island. At least when faced with an attack, there will still be a response. So he subconsciously clapped his paw. Fortunately, Tsubei kicked Uger, otherwise Uger would probably suffer. However, the follow-up star iron tiger did not pursue, but was in a daze. Tsubei also took the opportunity to fix the entry and subdued the metal tiger composed of meteorite iron. Star iron tiger, who initially possesses intelligence, is very curious about everything. Seeing Tsubei slashing the meteorite iron with a knife, he asked curiously. Only then did Tsubei's answer come. After thinking for a moment, Xing Iron Tiger followed Tsubei's example, walked into the mine, and waved his claws at meteor iron. Click 597. A crisp sound. The fist-sized meteorite iron was directly photographed. Tsubei was stunned. He held the Longyan sword, mobilized all his strength, and needed two swords to cut down a piece of meteorite iron. As for Uger, let alone swing the hammer for a long time. As a result, Xingtiu stepped up and lightly claws, and took a picture of the meteorite iron, which is not small in size. Tsubei was very excited. Uger was hit hard. How come another mining faster than him? Good job. Tsubei put away the Longyan sword and said with a smile, Xing Iron Tiger, come here, and slap a few more claws. Star Iron Tiger could feel Tsubei's joy and was immediately full of energy. With two claws down again, a larger piece of meteorite iron was photographed. Bang. The hammer in Uger's hand fell to the ground, his eyes blank. The glory of the dwarves was extinguished. Tsubei immediately made a decision. Star Tiger, you continue to shoot rocks here. Uger, you are responsible for guiding the mining direction. 5 Yes. Uger cheered up. This was his forte. Immediately, Tsubei looked at Eleanor. Have you found Yaoshi? Eleanor immediately replied, My lord, I found 2 pieces. The location has been marked, but there is no container, and it cannot be recycled for the time being. Go, take me there. 35 Originally, Tsubei planned to recover the secluded stone after mining the meteorite iron, and a quarter of an hour was definitely enough. But now that Star Iron Tiger will do it for him, he will be free. Just happened to contact Shen Qingling to get some boxes and take Yaoshi back. With this piece in his hand, he found 3 more secluded stones this time, enough to build 3 secluded energy cannons. When the time comes to swing to the island, whoever comes will die. During the journey, Tsubei was also thinking about another question. He had to find a way to find a few more dwarves. Otherwise, if there is only Uger, it is too slow to build a nether energy cannon. Even if Uger worked overtime, it would take about a week to complete the forging of the nether energy cannon. It takes at least a month to forge 4 cannons. Not too long, but definitely not too short. If you can add 1 or 2 dwarves, then the efficiency will be greatly improved. It's just that it's not that easy to recruit dwarves. Dwarves are not very keen on fame and fortune. Their greatest hobby is blacksmithing. Thinking of this, Tsubei found a breakthrough. He has meteorite iron in his hand. For the dwarves, this thing is the best material coveted. If the meteorite iron is used as a reward, it seems that it is not difficult to recruit a few dwarves, and there is a lot of room for manipulation. But this needs the help of the special team. Tsubei couldn't find the dwarf, But it didn't mean that the special team couldn't find it. There are a large number of island owners under the command of the Special Task Force, all over the island world. Those senior island owners may have connections with dwarves. With the BHCF, Special Team Centered, Sube has every chance to recruit the dwarves. Go back and ask Og for information about the dwarves, and then make a decision. Sube calmed down and sent a message to Shen Qingling. Is there a magic stone box? Shen Qingling's reply was as quick as always, yes. How much is required? Sube smiled. Sure enough, Shen Qingling knew his heart well and answered directly to his heart. Tentatively, said 3, I will send you the specifications later. 35 It is good. The other 2 quiet stones that Eleanor discovered were in the corners. It is also in line with Sube's guess. These secluded stones were blown up from the ground when the meteorite iron landed. After sending the specifications to Shen Qingling, Shen Qingling quickly passed over 3 boxes. Put away the secluded stone and bring it back to the island by the rock soldiers. Sube walked around the island with the jewel cat, trying to find 2 more secluded stones. Even if there is no secluded stone, similar stones are good. Eleanor returned to the passage with the turtle team. Although the possibility of monsters appearing is very low, it cannot be completely taken lightly. Anyway, with Sube here, no matter if you find a secluded stone or other ores, you can directly recover it. Meow meow meow. The gem cat found something and called softly on Sube's shoulder. After walking 40 or 50 meters to the right, Sube discovered the red sapphire in the pit. Yanyan stone, top-grade silver, or condensed in a high-temperature environment. This spar, similar to the secluded stone, is the core material for making energy cannons. Just the properties are different. The nether energy cannon is a dark attribute, with a strong corrosion effect. And the energy cannon made by this Yanyan stone is fire attribute, and it will form a violent explosion. But there is one thing in common. That is great power. Good job. Keep up the good work. Sube reached out and touched the gem cat's head to express his compliment. The appearance of this Yanyan stone seemed to be the beginning. Under the guidance of the gem cat, Sube found 3 more Yanyan stones one after another. With the 4 Yanyan stones in his hands, the heat wave was rising, and Sube couldn't hold it back. He contacted Shen Qingling to get 4 boxes and sent the rock soldiers back to the island. Sube's mood became more and more happy. On this island, although there are no special plants, there are no enemies to cut. But there are a lot of rare ores. 3 secluded stones plus 4 Yanyan stones, as well as meteorite iron that is constantly being mined. As long as these materials are converted into equipment, Sube's island will be further developed tremendously. However, the risks that come with it are also great. Sube felt something. After the end of this exploration, I am afraid there will be a big monster impact. Advertisement Chapter 110 Recruitment Plan, Poisonous Water Element. With the gem cat, I searched the island over and over, but in the end, no more rare ores were found. Sube speculated that it should have been blown away by the waves for a long time. Or it was exhausted and turned into rubble. However, the current harvest is already very rich. Back at the mining site of meteorite iron, Star Iron Tiger was still patting his claws. The previous mines had more than tripled in size. Meow meow meow. The meow of the gem cat was suspicious. The black guy in front of him looks similar to it, but why is it so big? Xingtiu also found the gem cat, and stopped to pat the ore's paws with doubts on his face. It is also difficult for it to express such rich and delicate feelings with metal materials. The first time Xingtiu saw the cat, he didn't react. This guy looks so similar to himself, is it the same kind? But why is it so small? A cat and a tiger stared at the big eyes. Sube was a little surprised. It is understandable that the Star Iron Tiger has this performance. It has just possessed intelligence and is curious about everything. But Jewel Cat has never seen a tiger, which is beyond Sube's expectations. What was it like where it lived before? This question, Sube found that he really hadn't thought about it. Sube's heart skipped a beat. The gem cat was drifting here. Could it also come from the initial point of ocean currents, the super island where wood elves may live? If so, then things get interesting. After gathering his thoughts, Sube called Augur and asked, how much meteorite iron has been mined. Speaking of this, Augur's face was full of smiles, and his beard was raised with excitement, and he said repeatedly, "Island Master, it is almost 30,000 kilograms, enough to turn both Yaoshi and Yang Yanshai into energy cannons." Fine. Lo Sube had a look of joy on his face. There are still 2 hours before the end of the transmission channel. Let the Star Iron Tiger refuel later. At least another 20,000 caddies of meteorite iron can be mined. For recruiting dwarves, absolutely enough. Thinking of this, Sube asked, "Og, I want to recruit a few more dwarves to cast energy cannons with you. What advice do you have?" Og pondered for a moment, and said, "Islander, it was very difficult originally, because the dwarf settlements are all near the mines, and our island, let alone the mines, can't even find the ore veins, so it is difficult to attract the dwarves. Settle down. But it's different now." Augur pointed to the mine and laughed and said, "With the meteorite iron here, as long as my clansmen hear the news, they will definitely come over with a hammer overnight." Sube nodded, which was almost as he expected. However, he also had other concerns, and he did not hide it at the moment, and said, "Og, you know that no other dwarves have been found in the surrounding waters, so I can only ask other island owners for help, but how to avoid information leakage is a problem." Og nodded and said, "The island owners' concerns are right, other dwarves are different from me, they may leak the coordinates of the island, which is very dangerous." After thinking about it, Augur said, "I have a suggestion, but I am not completely sure." "You say." "Islander, apart from the common language, we dwarves have their own languages among the tribes. Why don't I teach you 2 words, and you can let other human islanders convey them to the dwarf tribes you know. Only my tribe can speak those words. Listen, recruit them, and be safe." Aug's expression was arrogant. "Our alpine dwarf tribe will not betray our friends." Sube pondered for a moment, thinking about the feasibility of this plan. Og and his clan drifted to the enchanted island, and were only part of the mountain dwarf tribe. The remaining alpine dwarves live elsewhere. Among them must be Og's relatives and friends. It will be much safer to call them to the island. Supplemented by the ultimate means of entry fixation, the risk can be basically eliminated. And if you recruit Og acquaintances, they will cooperate more skillfully. Just as different flower fairies have different nectar recipes. Different dwarf tribes have different foraging techniques. The casting of the energy cannon is not a trivial matter. In the event of an accidental disaster due to technological problems, the loss will be too great. Augur's plan is the safest. With this in mind, Sube said decisively, "Okay, we will start this matter when we return to the island. But your plan needs to be revised. You make a list and call someone you trust." The island owner is wise. Og was overjoyed. Although his life on the island is very fulfilling, he will miss his clansmen in his spare time. Now that Sube wanted to recruit new dwarves, Og naturally recommended the alpine dwarves ask for flowers. During the conversation, the Jewel Cat and Star Iron Tiger next to each other stopped looking at each other. Star Iron Tiger once again threw himself into the mining work, while the Jewel Cat was squatting on Sube's shoulder, as if thinking about the cat's life. It really wants to know if it can grow to the size of a Star Iron Tiger. Sube didn't care about it either. He has already turned the island around. There is no other rare ores that can be recovered. So let the gem cat lie there and think. Time passed slowly. With the efforts of Star Iron Tiger, large pieces of meteorite iron were transported back to the island for storage. When the transmission channel disappeared, nearly 30,000 caddies of meteorite iron were mined. Stacked up in the open space, like a hill. Augur returned to the blacksmith shop immediately, began to write and draw, and pondered the list. Oh, by the way, I threw a piece of meteorite iron into the furnace. The 2 fire spirits were very interested in this new ore, and they puffed out fire, trying to melt the meteorite iron. But progress is very slow. The flame that can easily melt the magic iron ore is a little weak when facing the meteorite iron. And this made Sube more and more satisfied. The barrel made of meteorite iron will greatly improve the durability and reduce the risk of blowing up. This time exploring the magic island, It is still a lot of money. Just when Sube was about to make persistent efforts to open another coordinate jade, the three-dimensional detection of the heart of the island responded. On the beach to the northwest, a monster has landed. The number broke through double digits in an instant. Ready to fight. Sube shouted and rushed towards the beach first. The rest followed. Eleanor gave instructions to the three turtles, asking them to flank support from the side, and at the same time probe the sea to determine whether there are more enemies. Afterwards, Eleanor stepped on the blisters and slid all the way on the ground. Sube came to the shore and saw the appearance of the landing monster. Is the element of water. However, the whole body is dark green and exudes a pungent smell. Obviously, these water elements were corroded by demonic energy. Name: poisonous water element. Level: black iron. Top skills: 1. Water arrow. 2. Venom arrow. 3. Water immunity. Description: water elements eroded by demonic energy, they will obliterate all life. F. Advertisement. Chapter 111, full of crystal nuclei. When Sube was mining on the enchanted island, he had a premonition that he would be attacked. At this time, the poisonous water element appeared, and he was not surprised at all. Keep a safe distance. While charging, Sube also issued combat orders. There are a lot of poisonous water elements that land in the ocean, and they are proficient in long-range attacks, and others are too close to cause accidents. Sube himself doesn't care whether it is a water arrow or a venom arrow. In his eyes, they are as slow as a snail, and they dodge casually. Throwing out the wind slash, the poisonous water element in front of him slashed, and the battle officially began. In the sound of clunking footsteps, Star Iron Tiger ran from a distance and rushed straight into the encirclement of poisonous water elements. Sube felt that it was necessary to strengthen the education of Star Tiger. Fighting consciousness is equal to 0. However, although Star Iron Tiger's fighting consciousness is poor, the 600 with high basic attributes is outrageous. With the strength of its silver sub-level, it can pull out after images with just a single movement. As soon as the claw went down, the poisonous water element was immediately torn apart, and the element crystal nucleus in the body fell to the ground. The poisonous water element's attack hit Xingtiu's body, but it didn't have any effect. The characteristics of meteorite iron, coupled with the blessing of skills, have created the invulnerable Star Iron Tiger. However, Sube still ordered, destroy the enemy while avoiding the attack. Seeing Star Iron Tiger's fighting stance, Sube felt that it was necessary to keep some meteorite iron as a backup. So that this guy's body is damaged beyond repair. Star Iron Tiger obeyed and gradually found his own fighting rhythm. While maintaining efficient kills, the number of hits is also greatly reduced. Sube's expression was very satisfied. Going to the Magic Island this time really made a lot of money. Not only made money, but also earned back a strong thug. Star Iron Tiger greatly complimented the island's cutting-edge combat power. Even if there is another silver-level monster in the future, it can also share some of the pressure. While thinking, Eleanor shouted from a distance, "My lord, there are new poisonous water elements approaching in the Eastern Sea area, and the number is very large, and the heavy water turtles are blocking them as much as possible." 35 Sube immediately said, "You and Xingtiu go there to intercept. Augur is covering. Leave it to me here. Let the turtles explore the waters in other directions and report new information at any time." "Yes." The people acted immediately. Star Iron Tiger quickly left with Eleanor and headed to the east coast to block the poisonous water element. In the battlefield here, only Sube, Du Ling and the Lin family sisters are left. Sube is holding the Dragon Yin sword, and he is the only one who is in charge of everything. The Lin family sisters were fascinated and said, "The island owner is like a god of war. This is too powerful." Du Ling threw out 2 balls of energy and blasted the poisonous water elements in the distance. While dodging the attack behind the cover, she casually said, "You haven't seen the place where the island owner is so powerful." 5 The sisters are looking forward to it. Observe for a moment behind the bunker, lock the poisonous water element, and launch an attack. The 2 poisonous water elements in the distance died violently on the spot. With the blessings of the Flame Will and Frost Heart entries, Even if the Lin family sisters just awakened their abilities, they could still use their full strength to attack the poisonous water element. Seeing their own victory, the sisters' expressions became more and more surprised, and they admired Su Bei's mysterious methods beyond measure. They have known the power user, and know that even if they are awakened with a D-level fruit, it is difficult to have actual combat effectiveness at the beginning. And they did. Not only that, but it can kill the top black iron monsters in seconds. This was unthinkable in the past. Joining the island owner's company is their most sensible choice. The two sisters sighed in their hearts. Su Bei had already hacked to death a dozen poisonous water elements with the dragon yin knife, but their number was still not small, and they kept landing from the sea. To this, Su Bei's response is also very simple and straightforward. With a flick of his hand, a gust of wind slash, followed by a flat slash, a knife and a poisonous water element. The elemental nuclei on the ground continued to accumulate, shining brightly in the sun. Elemental crystal nucleus is the driving core of elemental organisms and the foundation of forming. The effect is not as good as the magic crystal, but it is not bad. Now the elemental nuclei all over the ground are enough to make the newly promoted ability users rise to the lower level of black iron. If there are enough numbers, even Su Bei can be promoted to bronze rank. Judging from the current war situation, it is very likely. I don't know where these poisonous water elements came from, and Su Bei was a little surprised by how many miles there were. There seems to be a problem with the upper current area. Su Bei thought to himself. He always felt that something uncontrollable happened on the super island where the wood elves existed. But it is obviously not wise to go to explore now. Not enough strength. Still, need to upgrade. Su Bei came to the conclusion and immediately plunged into a more intense battle, wielding the long yin saber without a shadow. Only seeing the knife light flickering, the poisonous water elements burst one after another, leaving only the elemental nuclei. Lord, Island Lord, Your Excellency, Eleanor asked me to convey that their defense line is solid. A flower fairy flew behind the bunker and announced loudly. In fact, Eleanor doesn't need to report. Su Bei can also analyze the corresponding battle situation from the stereo detection. The red dots representing the poisonous water element are continuing to disappear, maintaining the balance. Obviously, Eleanor and Star Tiger have completely gained the upper hand. But this is normal. Silver low-level Star Iron Tiger and Bronze high-level Eleanor. If this can't solve the poisonous water element of black iron level, it will be called abnormal. You don't even have to use those three big water turtles to join the fight. Their task is to be vigilant, cruising in the seas in the other two directions. The battle is still going on. But the rhythm is completely on Su Bei's side. The poisonous water element kept landing and was being destroyed. During the period, Su Bei also called the Zheng brothers and Zhuan Menaiu back from Blue Star, and asked them to join the battle to practice their skills. The fighting lasted nearly 2 hours. Countless toxic water elementals were killed. Su Bei hacked to death alone. The number exceeded 300. In addition to the 2.5-star Iron Tiger and Eleanor killed, the total number is at least more than 500. In other words, Su Bei's strength is strong, and coupled with the addition of many powerful subordinates on the island, it would be difficult to defend against him and dueling Sun Menaiu alone. The participants rested on the spot, and the Earth Spirit split body to transport the element crystal nucleus back. Su Bei gave an order and patrolled the island with the dragon sword. The battle looks over now, but it shouldn't be taken lightly. Fortunately, no new poisonous water elements appeared until all the elemental nuclei were recovered, which made Su Bei relieved. He is full of energy and can fight for 3 more days and 3 nights. But others can *t. Even Eleanor consumes a lot. Except for Star Tiger. This guy fought for 2 hours, ate a few bites of meteorite iron and then recovered, and followed Su Bei with his tail. Advertisement Chapter 112 Promotion to Bronze Rank. No new enemies appeared until the Zheng brothers recovered and returned to Blue Star. So far, Su Bei can basically be sure that this wave of monster attacks is over. However, there will be many similar battles in the future. His island star rating is too high. Even with the island world shelter for newcomers, it still can't hide the invisible attraction. and monsters will continue to land and invade in the future. The island's development is too fast and people are worried. Bayside. But this problem will soon be resolved. After Ogre makes a list and asks the special team to help find the Alpine Dwarf tribe, Bay can recruit new dwarves to build energy cannons. 4 nether energy cannons plus 4 yang cannons, swinging to the heights of the island, no matter which direction the enemy landed from, they can directly explode into the sky. While thinking, Ling came to report the situation. Islander, the battlefield cleanup has been completed, and no casualties have been caused. In this battle, a total of 613 elemental nuclei were harvested. How to deal with it, please decide. The number of 17 nuclei exceeded Bay's expectations. At the beginning, he counted more than 500 coins. It now appears that the fighting intensity on the east coast is also not low. However, with Star Iron Tiger and Eleanor there, even 200 poisonous water elements would not be able to break through the defense. Collecting his thoughts, Bay said, "Bring the crystal core, I want to absorb the promotion." 99 Yes. Ling waved her hand, and the rock soldier in the distance came over with 2 boxes of crystal cores and placed them on the ground. Bay picked up an elemental nucleus and placed it in front of him to watch. It is about the size of his thumb, and it is dark green as a whole, but with the passage of time, the color gradually becomes lighter. The water attribute energy inside is fading away, leaving only pure spiritual energy and a little devilish energy. These nuclei can be absorbed directly by Bay without any problem. But for Ling and others, it is necessary to wait for the internal water attribute energy to dissipate before it can be absorbed. Probably have to wait a day. Bay is going to complete the promotion first, and then the remaining crystal cores will be absorbed by everyone under his command. With more than 600 crystal nuclei, even if the energy intensity is not as strong as the magic energy crystal, it should not be difficult for him to complete the promotion. Finding the energy resonance point, the elemental nuclei in Bay's hands quickly shrank and disappeared. A single energy is only 1/3 of the magic energy crystal of the same volume. Bay calculated quickly. It takes almost 100 or so to advance from the top of the black iron to the bronze level, and the calculation is more than 400 element crystal nuclei. The consumption is within the acceptable range, and the rest will be left to Ling and the others, and strive for them to be promoted to the bronze rank as soon as possible. The follow-up battle, the black iron rank, may be very difficult. While thinking about it, the elemental nuclei in the box were continuously absorbed. When it comes to the back, Bay grabs a handful in the palm of his hand every time, and absorbs it all within half a minute. The efficiency was so high that Irene, who passed by, was stunned. At the same time, I can't help but think about a question. Absorbing elemental nuclei in this way, don't you need to worry about energy conflict? No matter how low the concentration of magic energy in the elemental crystal nucleus is, it still exists. Even if the native race wants to decompose these demonic energy, it needs a lot of effort. As a result, in Bay's hands, the elemental nuclei were absorbed in the blink of an eye. Eleanor suddenly felt that she didn't know enough about Bay. Or she doesn't know enough about the island world. This world is full of many unknown secrets. With this discovery, Eleanor simply put down the matter at hand and stayed by the side to observe and understand carefully. Bay didn't care, and emptied a box of elemental nuclei in a short period of time. And his energy fluctuations began to increase rapidly. Another 100 crystal nuclei were absorbed. Bay felt that there was an explosion of energy in her body. This is the prelude to promotion. The surrounding aura was attracted and gathered towards Bay's body, improving his basic attributes invisibly. Then through the increase of killing God, the improvement is very significant. The body strengthening process lasted for 5 minutes, and when the aura stopped gathering, the energy in Bay's body also exploded. The rank boundary was broken in an instant. Bay was also promoted to the bronze level naturally. The host's level is increased, and the number of daily entries is increased by 135. The system sent a reminder to celebrate Bay's promotion. In this way, Bay's daily entry fixation chance reached 8 times. Not much, but still rich. The next thing to do is to continue to upgrade. This promotion. The overall situation is similar to what Sube predicted. No difficulty. The only omission was the consumption of elemental nuclei, 50 or 60 more than expected. The remaining white crystal nuclei alone are not enough to make Sube rise to another level. According to the previous plan, it was handed over to Dulane and others to absorb. In the distance, Augur and others found the energy fluctuations here and came over one after another. After realizing that Sube was promoted, they all sent congratulations. Sube responded with a smile, then came to the beach with the dragon Yin sword, raised his hand and made a gust of wind. The number of air blades has not changed, it is still 3. But the flight distance is directly doubled, and it can attack the enemy 10 meters away. In addition, the speed and scale have also been greatly improved. Sube estimated his own strength. When encountering a silver-level enemy again, there is no need to use the Danwu Demon Slayer / and the gust of wind alone can kill the enemy. Killing efficiency is greatly improved. Sube put away the long Yin sword contentedly. Augur came at the right time and handed over a note with words that Sube had never seen before. Islander, I have already made the list you ordered. There are 5 people in total, and they are all in this paragraph. 39. This is an old saying of alpine dwarves, not to mention other races. Even other dwarf tribes may not understand it. Sube 600 took the branch, nodded and said, very good. 35. The note came just in time. When contacting Shen Qingling, Sube didn't say anything else, just sent a message, I saved a mountain dwarf, he is looking for a companion. Is there any connection between the special task force and the mountain dwarf tribe? Shen Qingling had actually guessed that there were dwarves under Sube's command, which was not surprising. As for the Alpine Dwarf tribe, she had heard of it. It can also be regarded as the top clan in the Dwarf clan, and its strength is very strong. The special team has been operating in the island world for many years, and its forces are spread all over the seas, and it has many connections with the Alpine Dwarves. Now that Sube mentioned this matter, Shen Qingling quickly replied, I know some. As for whether I know the dwarves under your command, I'm not sure. Sube took a photo of the note written by Augur and sent it to Shen Qingling. This is the list that the dwarf gave me. It's his friend. You send this piece of paper to the mountain dwarf tribe, and they can understand it. After Shen Qingling received the photo, he studied it for a long time. Then draw conclusions. She doesn't understand. This is not the common language of the island world, but it is the ancient language of the Alpine Dwarves. Sube sent a few pieces of meteorite iron to Shen Qingling, and sent a message, if you find the dwarves on the list, give them these meteorite irons. Shen Qingling replied, okay, leave this matter to me, and I will keep it as secret as possible. Thank you. Between us, don't be so polite. Advertisement Chapter 113 Horned Eagle hatched. Originally, Sube planned to explore all the 2 coordinate jades in one day. However, after returning, they encountered the poisonous water element landing attack and fought for more than 2 hours. Now it took a little more time to absorb the elemental crystal nucleus to complete the promotion. The sky is still bright, but it will soon become dark. Night battles are what Sube needs to avoid. The use of the second piece of coordinate jade will be prepared for tomorrow. And besides him, the physical strength of others has only recovered most of them, not the full state. Head iron to explore the magic island, prone to accidents. After giving the order to rest, Sube began to think about the follow-up development plan. His island has mobility, which must be exploited. There are countless islands in the ocean, many of which are idle, inhabited by native races, or occupied by various creatures. What Sube has to do is to integrate and absorb those islands and expand his islands. Natural growth alone, or the use of area growth props, is too slow. The drifting island where the flower fairy was merged before, and the barren lizard island have greatly increased the size of Sube's island. After tasting the sweetness, Sube felt the need to develop in this direction. But he couldn't just move forward. It takes life energy to move the island. The target must be identified before drifting past at low speed. Keeping the speed below 3 nautical miles has little effect on plants and can be ignored. With this in mind, Sube called Eleanor over. Islander 99 Eleanor salutes. Her hair was wet, and she was apparently resting in the pool just now. As a mermaid, although it is okay to move on land, the ocean is her home. When she has nothing to do, Eleanor prefers to stay in the water. Sube cut a long story short and asked, I heard that mermaids can communicate with fish, shrimp, turtles and crabs. Is it true? Return to the island owner. Yes. Eleanor nodded. I don't know what the island owner ordered. The 3 turtles you tamed. Do you know where there are islands or fragments in the nearby waters? Our islands need to be expanded. I understand. The island owner wants to drive the island over, and then merge and absorb it. I haven't asked this question before. The island owner waits a moment and I'll call over to ask. 5 Saying that, Eleanor called out. The turtle team emerged from the sea in the distance and slowly climbed ashore. Eleanor asked in the language unique to mermaids, and then said, Island owner, 50 nautical miles to the southwest, there is an island with a large number of sea lizards. Says 5 Sube calculated that the direction had already left the area of the ocean current, and the sharks had run wild before, so it shouldn't have much impact. If so, you can go and see the situation. 50 nautical miles, if you travel at 2 nautical miles per hour, you will arrive in 2 days. It can also free up time to complete the exploration of the second coordinate. Jade. Thinking of this, Sube said decisively, show me the specific location, we are ready to go. Eleanor asked again and pointed in a direction. Sube came to the heart of the island, confirmed the direction and started to move. The speed is set very slow this time, and the vibration is negligible. Returning to the ground, Juan Minayu had already returned from Blue Star, and she began to report the situation after seeing Sube. The company's production line has been debugged, and the shark meat brought back has started to be produced. It will soon become a high-energy nutritious meal, appearing on the tables of power users everywhere. It can greatly supplement the current needs of the company's operation. According to the growth of plants on the island, after the production of shark meat, some fast-growing crops will also be harvested, so that the equipment will not be idle. Such as the first planted potatoes and corn. Although it is only an ordinary grade, because it is produced in the island world, it has been in a state of short supply and is very popular, so there is no need to worry about its sales. But these products, the corresponding customers are ordinary people. But the number is large and the profit is considerable. After listening to the report, Sube nodded and said, it's hard work. Go to Du Ling's place to get some elemental nuclei, and absorb them when you have time. Thank you for the cultivation of the island owner. Juan Minayu said goodbye and left with a smile on her face. Before he could sit down and take a sip of water, Shan flew over again and said with a chirp. Sube couldn't sit still immediately. Those horned eagle eggs are moving. Before Sube asked Shen Kingling for the recruitment scrolls of Wangling and Shiling. Among them, 3 are responsible for the incubation of horned eagle eggs and maintain the temperature of the incubation room. Originally, Sube thought that it would take some time before the results, but he didn't expect that in less than a day, the horned eagle eggs would start moving. Just after Sube's promotion, there is one more opportunity to fix the entry, and he can refresh the fixed entry for the eagle egg. The horned eagle itself is a fighting creature that can be promoted to the silver level. If there is an entry blessing, the combat effectiveness will be stronger. While thinking about it, Sube came to the cultivation room and felt the warmth coming from him as soon as the door opened. On the thatched pile, 5 horned eagle eggs were placed neatly, and 3 light spirits were flying beside them, looking very curious. Sube was keenly aware that there were tiny cracks on the surface of the horned eagle egg. And every now and then, the horned eagle eggs would shake a few times. Judging from this sign, the horned eagle eggs will hatch in another hour. It's too fast. Sube muttered secretly. Immediately thought of a possibility. These horned eagle eggs may have been hatched for some time before they were obtained by him. Later, he was put in a treasure chest and flowed down the river to his island. Or the horned eagle egg was lost first, and then put into the treasure chest by the island world. Sube gathered his thoughts. No matter what, the 5 horned eagle eggs were his on his island anyway. Refresh. 3 alternative entries. 2 white and 1 green. It can be said to be very general. The 2 common level entries, Taiyu and Tai Claw, are better than nothing, and pass directly. That green rare entry is not bad. Load bearing upgrade, rare grade, increase the maximum weight that the Horned Eagle can carry, and upgrade the item level to the lower gold grade. The Horned Eagle is the vehicle of the elves. And the elves are notoriously light and soft. So the normal Horned Eagle, the load capacity is actually not strong. But with the load lifting entry, they are very different, from a light transport aircraft to a heavy transport aircraft, and on a tactical level, more versatile. 66 Fixed thing. The entry has been fixed. The target loyalty is constant at 100 exclamation mark at the moment when the entry was fixed. The cracks on the surface of the eggshell expanded rapidly. Soon, the 5 eggs were cracked, and 5 small heads came out. Horned Eagle looks very strange. They have the head of an eagle and wings, but the body is like a wild beast, with 4 legs and covered with dark green feathers. Just corrupted. It has grown to over 30 centimeters in length. When he grows up, he will definitely be a big guy. Satisfied, Subei checked the Horned Eagle's panel properties. The King's name, Horned Eagle potential, gold lower current level, black iron lower skills, 1, flight, 2, dexterity, 3, spoiler entry: load bearing increase, rare loyalty: 100. How to say? There is a lot of room for improvement. After hatching, the 5 little eagles ate the eggshells as energy supplements. Then they got together and called out to Subei. After Subei asked the earth spirit to bring some jerky to feed the Horned Eagles, these little guys started dozing off in the thatched hay. Subei walked out of the incubation room, called the Lin family sisters over, and entrusted them with the task of taking care of the Horned Eagle. After seeing the little Horned Eagle, the Lin sisters couldn't take their eyes off. This is too cute. Immediately ensure that the task will be completed, and the Horned Eagle must be fed fat and strong. Subei quickly corrected their thoughts. Horned hawks are not cats, and cannot grow bundles in the direction of the gas tank. On the beach, the jewel cat lying on the head of the rock soldier sneezed 3 times in a row, for some unknown reason. Advertisement Chapter 114. Return to the Enchanted Island. The collapsing building. 114. Reopening the coordinate Jade ultimatum. Abandoned laboratory. The hatching of the Horned Eagle was a pleasant surprise. However, if they want to truly transform into actual combat power, it is estimated that it will take 2 or 3 months at the earliest. There is no hope at this stage. Such a small Horned Eagle, it would be difficult to carry a dragon sword, let alone a manned flight. The regular use of the Horned Eagle is to match the archer to attack the enemy in the air. This is the tactic of the elves. But Subei has a different arrangement. Since it can carry an archer, it is the same with the power user. Not everyone is a natural marksman like an elf, and can accurately kill targets while moving at high speed. Wouldn't it be beautiful to transform from a fighter into a bomber with the help of the ranged attack ability of the power user? Moreover, the Horned Eagle in Subei's hand has increased the load, can mount armor, and enhance the defensibility. Subei's blood boiled when he thought of the 5 Horned Eagles flying through the sky and the power user on his back throwing his skills wildly at the enemy below. Mastering air supremacy is the correct way to open modern warfare. However, there are only 5 Horned Eagles, which is obviously not enough. If you have a chance, you have to find the elves and buy some Horned Eagle eggs back. In fact, what Subei wanted more was to abduct the 2 elves back. The elves are long-lived and knowledgeable, and each is a walking encyclopedia. With their assistance, the development of the island can reach a new level. Recruit people, you must recruit people. Subei muttered to himself. Thinking about the progress of Shen Qingling's side, I wonder if he has contacted the Alpine Dwarf tribe. However, I only contacted him half an hour ago, so it is obviously inappropriate to ask at this meeting. With nothing to do, Subei patrolled the island. Fusion of 2 islands, plus after using island hard fragments a few times. Now the total area of the island is nearly 6 square kilometers, which looks quite spectacular. However, because the expansion speed is too fast, it seems a bit empty. Subei pondered for a moment, and asked Juan Menaiu to return to Blue Star to get some corn and wheat seeds and sow them directly on the open space. These common plants grow fast and don't have to worry about sales. There are special plants in the follow-up, which can be planted after being transported back to Blue Star, so there is no need to worry about waste. The island area is idle, which is the biggest waste. By the time things were done, it was time for dinner. With the addition of the Lin family sisters, the dinner table became more lively. Star Tiger identified Sube as the owner and wanted to squeeze a piece to eat. Of course Sube refused. This guy is too big. He squatted beside the table, and if he didn't, bhcf, everyone would have nothing to eat. You can only draw a circle around it and let Xing Tiu nibble on the meteorite iron to play there. Juan Menaiu said with a smile, "Island owner, fortunately I chose a large size when I built it before, otherwise the Star Iron Tiger wouldn't even be able to enter the gate." Sube felt terrified at the thought of the almost scrapped gate, nodded and said, "You are right, you have to plan ahead for everything." 99 Dinner went into the evening and nothing of note happened. However, Eleanor found a few more heavy water turtles and earned them under his command. Her current turtle team has begun to take shape, and the level is not low. It has become the most powerful fighting force on the island after Sube and Star Tiger. As Eleanor continues to upgrade, the level of sea creatures she can tame will also increase. At that time, the island's defense system was quite complete. Never worry about being touched by monsters directly on the beach. In the early morning of the next day, Sube patrolled the island as usual with the Dragon Yin sword, and then began to arrange today's tasks. The main thing is to explore the Magic Island. After a night's rest, everyone has fully recovered their spirits and their fighting spirit is high. But before leaving, Sube found Shen Qingling. The leather armor that she had been commissioned to make should be ready soon. Just when I was about to send a message to Shen Qingling, the message on the other side came first: "The leather armor is ready." It's a coincidence, isn't it? I was just looking for you. This is called tacit understanding, and it is estimated that there have been many cooperations. I totally agree with it. While speaking, 8 sets of leather armor were sent over. The texture is soft and tough, and ordinary bronze-level equipment is difficult to penetrate completely. It will play an important role in future battles. After handing over the leather armor to Du Ling for distribution, Sube sent a message to Shen Qingling: "What's up with the dwarves? We have already contacted, but it may take a few days to find the dwarves on the list. The activities of the dwarf tribes are very wide, and it will take time for the news to pass." 5 Okay, let me know if you have news. Good. 39 After closing the chat bar, everyone changed their equipment and gathered around. Sube began to assign tasks. This time, I still let the turtles go first. After 2 minutes, there was no attack. I went over with Star Iron Tiger, followed by Eleanor and Dog, and the others were on standby on the island. 5 As ordered. After making arrangements, Sube crushed the coordinate jade and opened the teleportation channel again. The 2 heavy water turtles responsible for pathfinding passed through the passage first. Everyone looked at Eleanor. The same goes for Sube. Although the last island did not encounter an enemy and made a lot of money, this does not mean that you can be so lucky every time. In the silent waiting, 2 minutes passed quietly. Eleanor said, "The turtles are all right." 99 Sube nodded and took Star Iron Tiger into the passage. 2 sea turtles rest in the open space at the other end. Their demeanor was much more relaxed than yesterday. Sube sensed that the concentration of demonic energy in the air was not high. Observing the surrounding scene, it is quite normal. There are plants of different heights. However, no creatures have been seen yet. Continuing to observe, you can see that there is a collapsed building complex on the high ground in the middle part of the island. It seems that a lot of time has been wasted. Native races once lived here, but they may have moved away for unknown reasons. It may be the erosion of demonic energy, or it may be the attack of the enemy. The possibilities are many. The specific situation will have to wait until after the exploration to know. Sube gave a signal, and Eleanor and Dog crossed the passage. "You defend in place. I'll go see what's going on there." Eleanor said, "Island Master, If you don't bring the Star Iron Tiger, you can delay for a while under any circumstances. Tsubei waved his hand. Don't worry, I have my own discretion, and you need Star Iron Tiger to sit here even more. After saying that, Tsubei walked towards the heights. The buildings there make him very concerned. From the perspective of architectural style, it is very wild, not built by normal native races, but rather the style of hostile races. If that's the case, you have to proceed with caution. What those hostile races like to do the most is to set up traps in their strongholds. However, these buildings have been abandoned for a long time. Even if there are traps, they will fail, so there should be no major problems. But Tsubei clearly underestimated the insidiousness of the rival race. Before he even got close to the collapsed building, the ground exploded. Amidst the splashing gravel, silt monsters emerged from the ground, and a few balls of dark mud came up. Advertisement Chapter 115 The Sludge Monster. Name: Toxic Sludge Monster. Level: Bronze. Lower skills: 1. Poisonous Mist. 2. Buffer. 3. Corrosive Venom. Description: a water element that has absorbed highly toxic substances. It seems that it has been artificially transformed. After seeing the description, Tsubei was shocked. Good guy, what did this water element eat? It can change from the water element to the silt monster it is now. It's not a second to be poisoned by highly toxic substances, so it's a big deal. But from the description, Tsubei can also know other information. It's not that this water element wants to become a silt monster, but that it has been transformed into this. The building complex that collapsed in such a high place may have a mystery inside. Perhaps there used to be a sinful laboratory. Transforming combat weapons. The Dark Race can be said to be very familiar with it, and it is their specialty. While thinking about it, Tsubei dodged to avoid the corrosive venom spurted by the poisonous sludge monster, and threw a gust of wind with his backhand. Without any suspense, the poisonous silt monster was killed. Although this creature is composed of venom and has buffering skills, it still cannot resist Tsubei's attack and explodes directly. However, in the distance, explosions were heard one after another, and at the foot of the mountain, poisonous silt monsters continued to emerge from the dark corners and attacked Eleanor and the others. Tsubei smashed the surrounding silt monsters, rushed down the mountain and joined the battle. In fact, it doesn't matter if he doesn't come back. The toxic sludge monster has the strength of a bronze inferior, but whether it is Star Iron Tiger or Eleanor, its level is higher than them. The Star Iron Tiger was invulnerable to all poisons, and the venom was sprayed on it, and it flowed directly to the ground without causing any scars. With a single claw on the backhand, the Star Iron Tiger can shoot out the crystal core of the poisonous silt monster and knock it apart. The poisonous silt monster is transformed from the water element and inherits some of the characteristics of the water element. For example, the nucleus is their Achilles heel. Once the nuclei are extracted, they cannot maintain their shape and disintegrate directly into a pool of silt. And Eleanor's fighting style is quite simple and rude. Add a blister to yourself, then stand still and bang against the poisonous silt monster. However, she has a high level, and has water control skills, and her water skills are very powerful. In addition, before coming, the flower fairy Avina also came to the dance of flowers, adding a buff to the whole group. This time, Eleanor immediately pressed the poisonous silt monster to the ground and rubbed it. The water arrow was thrown fast and hard. Ha ha ha, I have become so strong. Eleanor was extremely excited, and she flung her hand with 2 water arrows. Tsubei thought that the mermaid he picked up was still a militant. It is said that the love of peace and the world is free from contention. Totally invisible. While thinking about it, Eleanor raised her hand to release the shock of the water column, sending the poisonous silt monster directly to the sky. Under the scouring of the water column, a silt monster went up, and a crystal nucleus came down. By the time Tsubei reached the foot of the mountain, the battle was over. The 7 poisonous silt monsters were wiped out without making too much waves. Tiger didn't get a chance to get out. But Tsubei gave him the task of guarding Eleanor in case of a sneak attack by monsters. This island is not a small problem. 39 Tsubei put away the dragon sword, These silt monsters have been transformed. Augur and Eleanor's expressions became solemn. They are native race and naturally know what that means. Eleanor said, if this is the case, then the building complex on the mountain is most likely the alchemy room of the dark race. The alchemy room Eleanor mentioned was actually a laboratory, but it was called differently. Augur clenched the hammer in his hand and said, Islander, to be safe, it's better to explore the building together. 35 The truth is this truth. However, the transmission channel also needs to be defended. Sube thought for a while and said, Eleanor, Og, you and the turtle squad are here to defend. I will bring the star iron tiger, and if the number of enemies is large, send a signal immediately. As ordered. After assigning the task, Sube took the star iron tiger to the building complex on the top of the mountain again. After crossing the previous battle area, before walking more than 10 meters, the new poisonous silt monster smashed out from the corner. However, there is no silt monster at the foot of the mountain, which is worth celebrating. The star iron tiger charged forward, smashing the crystal core of the poisonous silt monster with both claws, ending the battle. Moving on, it was a poisonous silt monster again. At the same time, there is a slight smell of decay in the air. Accompanied by rising energy fluctuations. Sube immediately became alert. If nothing else, this is going to be a boss. Ask for flowers. Back then, when the dark race transformed the water element here, it might have created some ruthless characters. Or these poisonous silt monsters devoured and fused with each other on the island. While thinking about it, the ground in the distance quietly dissolved, and an extraordinarily huge silt monster appeared, more than 10 times the size of an ordinary silt monster. It's just a wriggling hill. The biggest difference between this silt monster and other silt monsters is that its body is more transparent, and the broken bones can be vaguely seen. Name: Elite Sludge Monster Level, Silver Intermediate Skills, 1, Poisonous Breath 2, Energy Absorption 3, Corrosive Venom Description: the silt monster that devoured countless corpses has mutated. This silt monster is obviously the boss. Oh, I don't know how many corpses it devoured, but it is just a rank higher than other silt monsters. Wind slash. Sube raised his hand and threw out 3 chi blades, but they were directly absorbed by the elite silt monster. The damaged body reassembled in an instant, as if the wound had never appeared. Star Iron Tiger swooped forward from the side, and his claws slapped the mud. But compared to the size of the elite sludge monster, the mud that was shot flying was a drop in the bucket, and it didn't affect anything at all. The elite sludge monster didn't feel pain, but Star Iron Tiger was beside him, slapping it like this. It was no big deal, and when he turned his head, he spit out a highly poisonous breath. The turbulent energy torrent knocked the Star Iron Tiger flying and rolled on the hillside. For such an enemy, Sube knew that it was time to use Tan Wu to destroy the demons. But he must aim at the core position of the elite silt monster. One shot killed. Otherwise, even if it is split in half, it will be reunited in a short period of time. This is also the tricky part of the sludge monster. If you can't get the opposite side in seconds, the battle will be deadlocked. With the target in hand, Sube started to move at high speed while continuously swinging the gale slash, slashing the body of the elite sludge monster. He's looking for the core. Elite sludge monsters need to control the flow of energy in order to repair their bodies. And what controls energy is its core. After wielding the gale slash more than a dozen times, a smile appeared at the corner of Sube's mouth. The core has been locked, and now, the death of this elite silt monster has come. Tan Wu destroys the devil. Gan. Advertisement: if you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 116, The Cursed Sect Alchemy Room. Elite sludge monsters were killed. Its core was cut in half by the Xuan Huang power of Tan Wu's demon slaying slash. If the core is damaged, it is naturally unable to maintain the original shape, and can only turn into mud and flow recklessly. As the silt emerged, There were also numerous white bones. It wasn't real enough to see before, but now the elite silt monster disintegrates and the bones are scattered, which immediately shocked Sube. There are more than 50 pairs of skeletons that can be roughly put together as a whole. If you add those scattered bones. According to preliminary estimates, this elite silt monster ate at least several hundred corpses. It still leaves bones. If even the bones were digested, the total number would be terrifying. But this also raises a new problem. Where did so many corpses come from? After coming here, Sube found that the island had been untouched for many years. Most of the corpses that the elite silt monsters can swallow are left here by the 603. Judging from the scale of the collapsed building complex, the number of people here was not small at the time. So many people, did not one escape? It's a bit outrageous. After gathering his thoughts, Sube decided to move on and take a look at the building complex. Maybe there will be new discoveries. In addition, if he guessed correctly, after killing the elite silt monster just now, there should be no enemies on this island. Picking up the shattered crystal core, Sube was heartbroken to find that the energy inside was rapidly dissipating. What could have brought Sube up to another level was not enough now. But something is better than nothing. It took 2 minutes to absorb the broken crystal nucleus and set off again. During this period, no new silt monsters appeared, which can be regarded as a preliminary confirmation of Sube's guess. The island is basically safe. But to be on the safe side, he didn't call Eleanor and Augur over. Climbing up with the Star Tiger, and taking a few steps to the top, Sube had a panoramic view of the building complex. The appearance of the laboratory can be vaguely seen, and there are many fragments of measuring instruments and equipment scattered on the ground. The battle marks are also very obvious. The floor and walls were full of slash marks from sharp knives. If nothing else, this place was served in one pot. And those transformed water elements survived and gradually turned into highly poisonous silt monsters over the long years. The best of them, after swallowing all the corpses, evolved into an elite silt monster. Then I met Sube, and was once again served in a pot. Sure enough, history is a constant cycle. Sube secretly said. Immediately, he asked Xingtiu to stand by in the open space, and he started to explore the ruins with the Longyan sword in hand. After this place was reached, it should have been set on fire, and there were very few valuables that could be found. Objects that can indicate identity are even more absent. Thought it was cleaned up. After turning around, Sube gave a signal, while Eleanor and Dog went back to shake people. There is nothing to see here, so we can only call the Earth Spirit and the split body, and transfer the plants on the island away. The value of the building complex is 0, but fortunately there are many plants. Finally able to make up for the loss. The coordinates of the bronze middle grade. I want to come to this island to find some valuable plants. It's not worth it. After thinking about it, Sube called Jewel Cat over. He still cares about this abandoned building complex. The battle that took place here was hurried, like a raid. So maybe there would be something left in the corner. Or hidden in the first place. The treasure hunting skills of the gem cat come in handy. On the other side, after receiving the Sube signal, the Earth Spirit and the Splinter Body rushed over. They are very good at transferring plants, and each is a good hand. The rock soldiers guarded by the side to avoid any accident. Eleanor and Dog climbed to the hides together to find Sube. Sube pointed to the wreckage on the ground and said, I deliberately didn't move the scene. Let's see if you can find any clues. 39 For the island world, the native race must know better. Humans have only discovered the island world for 100 years, and they have not even figured out how big the island world is, let alone many secret past events. Eleanor and Og agreed. After thinking about it, Sube called the flower fairies again and joined the inspection team together. And Sube looked at the gem cat and said, Quick! Go find the baby. Meow meow meow. The gem cat acted reluctantly. The ruins here are too messy, and there are traces of silt monsters. It really doesn't want to run here. However, Sube ordered, and the gem cat could only recognize it by pinching its nose. Trying to choose a clean place to settle down, the gem cat jumped and disappeared into the ruins. Sube was a little worried at first, for fear that this guy would encounter some trap and kill himself. But after hearing Jewel Cat's happy meowing, Sube felt that he was overthinking. After a while, Eleanor came over and said, "Islander, after the three of us discussed, we think this may be the alchemy room of the cursed sect. Cult of the Damned?" Sube chanted this name, and felt like he had heard it somewhere. Eleanor explained, the Cult of the Damned was an evil organization that was active 500 years ago. Their goal was to destroy the island world, and they were later annihilated by various ethnic groups. But, instead of all perishing, they hid and continued to operate. The equipment here shows the style of the Cult of the Damned. 39 In the surrounding battle traces, we found the characteristics of several top races, and we can basically confirm that this is the alchemy room of the Damned sect. Speaking of this, Sube remembered. The Cult of the Damned is a relatively well-known organization in the history of the island world in the last 1,000 years. Acting style highlights a maddening. The best thing at all is biotransformation. They made all kinds of bizarre biological combat weapons. Those water elements that have been transformed into silt monsters are estimated to be their experimental materials. Sube secretly let out a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the specifications of the alchemy room here are not high, otherwise, there may be more than silt monsters. As far as he knew, the cursed sect at its peak was capable of producing platinum-level or even diamond-level biological weapons, which was called a fierce one. Killed native races throw away their armor. In the end, they worked together to sweep the Cult of the Damned into the trash heap of history. However, the weeds were not completely eradicated, and there were still a small number of people working on 2.5. Members of the Cult of the Damned, mostly from the dark race. But there are also native races who are blinded by power and choose to join them. These people have also become the patrons of the Damned sect, covering up relevant information. Thinking of this, Sube's expression became solemn. It's a little troublesome when things involve the cursed sect. The only good thing is that this place was completely abandoned, and it is estimated that the existing cursed sects do not know there is such a place. Or maybe you know, but don't bother to come, because it's of little value. But to be on the safe side, act quickly, scavenge things and leave quickly. Just as Sube was about to give an order, he saw the Jewel Cat emerge from the corner, covered with some cobweb dust. Jewel Cat put the book in its mouth in front of Sube. There are a few words written in the common language of the island world. Experimental Diary. Advertisement. Chapter 117. Gold-level plants, misty trees. Experiment Diary. Sube looked at the quaint book in his hand, as if he had seen countless evil experiments. Then again, can this thing be considered a baby? It seems inappropriate to be found out by the gem cat's treasure hunting skills. Collecting his thoughts, Sube opened the experiment diary. The handwriting on it is a bit scribbled, and it can be seen that this is really a diary, highlighting a freewheeling one. Sube took a casual glance. July 11th, 23rd year of the curse calendar. The quality of the water elements caught today is a bit poor, and those Nagas still claim to be invincible players in the deep sea, which is a fart. August 19th, 23rd of the curse calendar. The fusion experiment failed. What is the problem? On September 5th, 23rd of the curse calendar. The fusion experiment failed again, but I found that the powders obtained by grinding and drying chopping steel vine, soul-eating jade, and exhaustion lan in a ratio of 1 to 2 to 5 can effectively corrode metals. On February 13th, 25th of the curse calendar, I discovered a new formula again. Sube watched for a long time, and his expression became a little strange. This thing is not so much a fusion experiment diary, but a medicine research manual. On the last page of the diary, Sube saw the signature, Eleanor Osmond. I think it is the member of the damned sect who wrote this experimental diary. 17. Sube looked at the three of Eleanor and asked, "Do you know the name?" After recalling for a long time, the three shook their heads and said, "Back to the island owner, I have never heard of this name, it should have been destroyed together with this alchemy room." 39. Sube reckons the same is true. When this place was destroyed by the coalition forces, the researcher named Eleanor Osmond probably did not survive, and later became the food of the elite silt monsters. Even the presence of bones was a problem. But the past is like the wind, and it is useless to say anything else. On the contrary, it was this experimental diary that Sube saw its value in. Although there is a lot of nonsense in it, it also records a lot of medicinal formulas, including experiences and research directions. The Lin family sisters under Sube's command are the most researched on pharmacology on the island. May wish to take this diary back. Let them study slowly. It would also be nice to be able to sort out several recipes. With this in mind, Sube decisively put away the experiment diary, and then said, "Check the ruins of the building again." Everyone led the way, and Sube came to a high place, overlooking the entire island, and saw the Earth spirits and splinter bodies at work. The current Earth spirit has created 7 split bodies, and the team is also small and large. And it will continue to increase in the future. But after seeing the height difference between the Earth spirit and the split body, Sube couldn't help but think of Snow White and the 7 dwarfs. It can't be said that it is exactly the same. It is almost the same. Sube's brain was wide open, and he was happy when he watched a batch of plants being moved to the entrance of the passage and then carried back by the rock soldiers. There are a lot of plants on this island, and Sube came here with a bronze middle grade coordinate jade. When he wants to wait for the statistics, Dueling will give him a lot of surprises. Silver grade plants should exist, and most likely are adults. 99 Sube secretly said. It would be even better if there was a golden level adult plant. Gold level plants, whether they can produce supernatural fruit or not, are extremely valuable. It can provide rich life energy and make the surrounding environment better, thereby speeding up the growth of ordinary plants. The Hangyuang fruit tree, which was planted next to the Xuling fruit tree, was still progressing gratifyingly without the accelerated growth entry. That was the reason. This is a hidden improvement, although the magnitude may not be very large, but after superimposing other effects, the end result is impressive. If there is an ability fruit, it will be earned directly in blood. Coupled with the blessing of the entry, it is upgraded to platinum quality, and the value is 10 times or even dozens of times higher. However, the specific harvest will have to be counted after all the work is completed. Now what Sube has to do is to be on guard here. In addition to being alert on the island, you must also be on guard against the appearance of enemies from the sea. Although unlikely, it should not be taken lightly. Meow meow meow. The jewel cat came over with dust on his body. It has drilled all over the corner and found no more valuables. Sube is not bothered either. Being able to get the experimental diary is already a pleasant surprise, so don't be too greedy. Time passed slowly until the teleportation channel was about to end, and no enemy appeared. The surrounding sea is also very calm. Although there was a faint demonic energy floating on the sea, there was no trace of the monster. Disappointed Sube. He also said that he would kill a few silver level monsters to make a fortune. As a result, let alone silver level monsters, there are not even black iron level monsters. During the period, Eleanor also came to report. They searched the building complex, but couldn't find any valuables. Sube nodded to show that he understood. This is to be expected. When the coalition forces fought this time, there were not a few complete pieces left. With the cleaning up of the battle, it was a fortune that the experimental diary was left. Returning to the island with everyone, the teleportation channel disappeared. After summoning the Lin family sisters, Sube handed them the experiment diary, and ordered, organize it and find out the valuable drug formulas in it. 35 As ordered. After waiting for a while, Dueling walked over quickly and began to report the harvest of the island. Islander, the plants recovered this time are as follows. 2 gold level plants, according to the data comparison, are mist trees. The 35 silver level plants are all ghost and banyan trees. There are a total of 127 bronze level plants, and there are many kinds. Among them, there are 2 kinds of supernatural fruit trees, 12 black blood fruit trees and 20 green thunder fruit trees. 99 The total number of black iron plants is 681, and the relevant data are as follows. 35 The second is ordinary grade plants, which have been recycled to the maximum extent. While speaking, Du Ling handed over the folder. Subei 603 took a closer look and said, "The golden mist tree needs to be transplanted to the magic field, and the black blood fruit tree and the green thunder fruit tree are planted next to it. I will find a way to expand the magic field in the future. The ghost hand banyan tree is put aside first. This thing is a bit dangerous. Wait for me to determine the defense range. As for black iron and ordinary plants, put them on ordinary land first." Du Ling nodded again and replied, "The island owner can rest assured that the arrangements have been made properly." "Very well, you go to work first." "Yes." Du Ling walked away quickly, while Subei narrowed his eyes, feeling quite happy. "This time, I really harvested a gold-level plant, and it was still a mist tree. The biggest feature of this plant is that it will release fog and cover up the trail without excessively affecting the light exposure. It is a very practical defensive plant." Thinking of this, Subei suddenly understood why no one had landed on that island. Not only because the relevant records were lost, but also because the outside world could not find them there. With misty trees around, it's hard to get locked down. As for the silver-level ghost hand banyan tree, the defense attribute is also full. The hanging rattan, like a ghost hand, will wrap the body of the prey unconsciously, and then devour the flesh and blood. 35 ghost hand banyan trees, as long as they are properly arranged, can form an insurmountable defensive line. To sum up, this exploration of the enchanted island has made a lot of money. Advertisement Chapter 118, The Mist Banshee. After waiting for a long time, Du Ling returned again, informing Subei that the transfer of the plants had been completed. Subei walked directly to the middle area of the island. There are 2 gold-level mist trees there, and they are all mature trees, so the entry must be refreshed first. 2 misty trees, about 10 meters in height, are not particularly stalwart. But there was a lingering gray mist lingering in the canopy. Even in sunlight, these fogs will not dissipate. Subei took a closer look and found that there was a very hidden layer of mist above the island. With his eyesight, if you don't look carefully, you will ignore it. The biggest effect of this layer of fog is to interfere with the enemy's line of sight. Subei doesn't know the exact reason, but he is sure that with these 2 mist trees, the island's concealment will be greatly increased. The 2 mist trees were not close to each other, but were scattered as far as possible at both ends of the magic field. In the middle were the original plants of the island, such as the blood spirit fruit tree, storm strawberry, and dark underworld tree. Under the shelter of the misty tree, the probability of these advanced plants being attacked by flying monsters will be minimized. Standing in the distance, Subei merged the 2 misty trees into one, and refreshed them in batches. The purple light in his field of vision made Subei feel more happy. Live cohesion, epic level, make the fog condense and form, condense a fog banshee every 3 days, and the item level is upgraded to the platinum top grade. The appearance of this entry was unexpected by Subei. The mist tree, which was originally a top grade gold, was upgraded to a top grade platinum with the blessing of an epic entry. At the same time, it unlocks an unprecedented ability to condense the mist banshee. Although Subei has never seen the mist banshee, he can roughly estimate the abilities of this creature. Since they were born in the mist tree, they must have the basic attributes of the mist tree, disturbance. In addition, if it is condensed from fog, the shape of the fog banshee will be illusory and can be immune to physical attacks. And if you guessed correctly, as long as the mist banshee is not killed in seconds, she can use the mist to repair her injuries. It is a very powerful fighting creature. Nothing to say, just fixed directly. Fixed. Ding, the entry has been fixed. The moment Subei chose a fixed entry, the mist on the canopy of the 2 misty trees began to converge. In just a moment, 2 translucent banshees appeared in Subei's field of vision. The face is beautiful and the curves are beautiful, but from the waist down, the mist forms a fluffy skirt, which is not real. Name, Mist Banshee level, Black Iron lower skills, 1, illusory body 2, Mist Arrow 3, disturbance description, a peculiar existence born in the misty tree, which can save most of the attack's owner. The Mist Banshee floated down from the canopy and saluted Subei. Subei nodded and asked, How fast is your level increasing? Although the Mist Banshee was born in the Mist Tree, which is a top-grade platinum, the initial level is also a low-level black iron, and it takes time to improve the level. It's just the lifting method that makes Subei a little unsure. These peculiar beams don't seem to be able to absorb demonic crystals. The Mist Banshee on the left replied, Master, as long as we perch on the Mist Tree, we can continue to improve our level, and it is expected that we will upgrade to bronze level in 10 days, but it will be slower after that. 10 days to be promoted to bronze level. This is definitely good news. Not to mention how strong it is. At least it has a certain fighting ability. Equals The most important thing is that the way to upgrade the level of the Misty Banshee is very worry-free. Just stay on the Misty Tree and don't have to worry about Subei at all. Most importantly, the Mist Tree can condense a Mist Banshee every 3 days. 2 Misty Trees can condense 2 at a time. Over time, the Mist Banshees on Subei Island will become a force to be reckoned with. Collecting his thoughts, Subei said, Demonstrate your abilities. Hearing this, the 2 Misty Banshees immediately acted, with longbows condensed by the mists appearing in their hands, and then they drew their bows and arrows, and shot arrows of mist towards the sky. During this process, the surrounding fog slowly gathered to supplement their consumption. Stop. Subei stopped the Mist Banshee's attack with a very satisfied expression. These Misty Banshees are natural shooters, and when their numbers increase, they can form air defense positions, and no enemy will even think of raiding the island from the air. Go back and rest. 35 Subei waved his hand and asked the Banshee to return to the canopy, and then walked to the location of the banyan tree. The appearance of the ghost hand banyan tree is not much different from the ordinary banyan tree, but the branches that hang down do not penetrate into the soil, but hang. Subei took 2 steps forward, and the branches immediately reacted and moved slightly. But no attack was launched. Although the ghost hand banyan tree is a plant, because of the ability to hunt, it also has some wisdom that ordinary plants do not have. They also know the rules. This is the island of Subei. They are now under the fence of people, so they can't be too arrogant. The main reason was that in the previous battle, they noticed that the silver-level elite silt monster was hacked to death by several knives, leaving a deep psychological shadow. At that time, these ghost hand banyan trees realized that the difference in combat power between them and Subei was not of the same level at all. If you really dare to probe the branches, you are afraid that you will be cut off by the roots. For such a sensible ghost hand banyan tree, Subei did not embarrass them and refreshed them directly. The entries that appeared this time are not as high quality as the Mist Tree. White, blue and blue. The highest is only excellent. Moderate, quick digestion, excellent level, which enables the branches of the banyan tree to secrete venom, quickly decompose flesh and blood, and upgrade the item level to the lower gold level. This entry is very in line with the basic characteristics of the ghost hand banyan tree. Moreover, in Subei's plan, these ghost hand banyan trees are planted on the shore to form a defense line and slaughter and devour the landing enemies. With the quick digest entry, no matter how many enemies come, it will not be able to resist. However, the ghost hand banyan tree also has limitations. They cannot move and can easily become fixed targets. So if you want to use them to form a defense, the king's good line, you need to cooperate with other defense methods to eliminate the enemies who are attacking from a long distance. After the enemy charged, it was when the banyan tree of ghost hand showed its talents. Subei has already made up his mind. The tree person cultivated and transformed by the flower fairy is the best companion of the ghost hand banyan tree. The trees are cumbersome and heavy, but their strength attributes are extremely high. If you prepare some rocks for them, they are natural catapults. One hit and one hit. The hard trunk can also help the banyan tree resist attacks. The combination of the two can be said to complement each other. Concentrating his mind, Subei chooses a fixed entry. The quality of the entry is of course the higher the better, but it cannot be forced. If there is a suitable one, fix it directly. Afterwards, Subei called Avina and informed her about the arrangement of the defense line. Avina took the order and started to transfer the tree man with the flower fairy. Before Subei went to check other plants, News of Shen Qingling came to Li. Already contacted Alpine Dwarf. Advertisement Chapter 119 Pure Darkness and Thunder. Shen Qingling's news is very timely. At the same time, Su Bei also smacked his tongue secretly for the strength of the special team. I just sent the note written by Augur yesterday, and there is news today. However, the communication between the island owners is very convenient. Just had a friend and chat directly. What the special task force needs to do is to first screen out the island owners whose subordinates are connected with the dwarves, and then look for the Alpine Dwarf tribe. Finding someone is not difficult. The difficulty is the channel network. Only the special team can contact the island owners located in various places. Based on Su Bei himself, the only way he can think of is to send a reward in the newcomer chat area. But in that case, the risk is too great. In addition to the island owner of the Dragon Kingdom, the chat area is more of the island owner of other forces. Those island owners won't have very good thoughts. Collecting his thoughts, Su Bei found a place to sit down and sent a message back to Shen Qingling. How to say? Shen Qingling replied. The Alpine Dwarf replied to our people, saying that the location was initially determined and it is being locked. This sentence is a little unclear, but Su Bei knows the mystery. What the Alpine Dwarves mean is that they have found the tribe where Og was originally, but it will take a little time to find those people on the list. However, Su Bei expects that there should be news at most tomorrow. Even fast, there will be 603 results before dinner. Thinking of this, Su Bei decisively called Og over and told him the news. Og's excited beard cocked up and said repeatedly, I will never forget the kindness of the island owner. 99 Su Bei waved his hand and smiled. Needless to say, by the way, how is the casting progress of the energy cannon? Speaking of this, Augur put away his expression and said, the progress is as expected, but the number of fire spirits is not enough to increase the temperature of the furnace, and the speed of melting meteorite iron is very slow. According to preliminary estimates, at least 5 or 6 fire spirits will be needed. Just barely enough. In addition, the furnace now wants to forge the barrel, but it is not enough, and it needs to be further expanded. Su Bei nodded and said, since that's the case, wait for your clansmen to arrive before rebuilding the forge. As for the fire spirits, I will find 10 more. Augur was overjoyed. It couldn't be better. 35 Augur felt that the life he was living was the life of his dreams. There are enough rare ores, even if the island does not have it, the island owner will buy it back. The infrastructure has only increased, regardless of cost. This kind of treatment, when in the tribe, only those master blacksmiths can enjoy. Org is not qualified anyway. This kind of treatment made Og determined to complete the casting of the energy cannon and make the island an indestructible fortress. Augur said goodbye and left, full of energy. Su Bei opened the chat bar and sent another message to Shen Qingling. I need 10 fire spirit recruitment scrolls. No problem. A total of 50 million, 20% discount for you, 40 million. Thank you for your patronage. 3,510 million was wiped directly between the chat and laugh. But now it is obvious that Su Bei can't pay so much cash. So he very simply repeated the old tricks. Accounting. When Blue Star's shark meat starts to be shipped, the money back will be able to make up for it. It won't take a few days. Shen Qingling did not have any objections, and directly passed 10 recruitment scrolls. In fact, even if you send 10 more cards, it is not a problem. Su Bei takes a slap, uses it directly, and then refreshes it in batches. Then I saw the entry that appeared before. Rise of fire, excellent level, greatly increase the temperature of the flame, and upgrade the item level to the lowest level of gold. Is this alright? Su Bei muttered something. But this is also good. The 10 newly recruited fire spirits can join the original fire spirit team without any problems, and maintain the temperature stably. Send the fire spirit to the smithy, and Su Bei goes to check the plants that have been moved back. What he cared about were 2 bronze level plants. Black blood fruit tree and green thunder fruit tree. Black blood fruit tree, bronze top grade, the fruit has a chance to awaken E level dark abilities. Green thunder fruit tree, bronze middle grade, The fruit has a chance to awaken E-level thunder-type abilities. These are two power fruit trees that are much more valuable than other bronze rank plants. It is also the most worthy of fixed entries. There are 12 black blood fruit, BHCF, trees, all of which are adults, with a height of over 3 meters, and the overall color is black with some dark red lines. There are fruits hanging on the branches, but they are not yet ripe, and they are about the size of eggs. Calculated from the volume of the fruit, there are still about 20 days before maturity. But that was before enchanting the island. Now transfer to the island of Subei, with the blessing of the magic field, as well as the improvement of the island world, plus the life nourishment of Zielu, and even the driving effect of high-level plants. Taken together, this batch of black blood fruits will mature within 10 days. The black blood fruit is the fruit of the ability to awaken the dark attribute. The ability of this attribute has a strong attack power. While thinking about it, Subei chose to select 12 dark blood fruit trees and refresh them in batches. The highest is the excellent entry, which is not bad. Pure darkness, excellent level. The dark power that awakens the black blood fruit is upgraded to D level, and the item level is upgraded to silver middle grade. The name is very domineering, and the effect can only be said to make do. Subei gives an evaluation. Just looking at this purely dark name, Subei felt that it was not too much to give an epic grade, but it turned out to be an excellent grade. But this was determined by the system, and Subei could only recognize it. Choose to fix at will, and the black blood fruit tree becomes more and more dark. If you don't know, you will definitely think that these fruit trees have been struck by lightning, and their appearance is too shabby. Subei didn't care much, and then looked at the green thunder fruit tree next to him. The thunder type ability takes into account both damage and control, and is a very sought-after attribute. Moreover, there are as many as 20 Kingalai fruit trees recovered this time. Once they are mature and harvested, they will directly become cash cows, which can definitely make other apprentice island owners cut them. The shape of the green thunder fruit tree is completely different from that of the black blood fruit tree. Black blood fruit trees are laterally developed and leafy. And the green thunder fruit tree grows straight up, similar to bamboo. Subei doubts that this thing is so long just to be struck by lightning. There are also fruits hanging from these green pomegranate trees, but they are smaller. Even if there are various growth bonuses, it will take about a month to harvest. A bit long, but still acceptable. After all, there are 20 Kingalai fruit trees, each harvesting a dozen or so fruits, which is also 200 or 300. If you leave them all, you can instantly create 2 or 3 teams of thunder-type abilities. If you change hands and sell it, you can also exchange for sky-high materials, which will definitely make a profit. Refresh. No, suspense. Excellent entry. Thundering. Excellent level. The thunder type ability that awakens Kingaligo is upgraded to D level, and the item level is upgraded to low level silver. Refresh fixed in one go. The green pomegranate tree is also processed. So far, Subei has used 5 entry fixing opportunities in a short period of time, and he intends to stay for the remaining 3. And this is the result of refreshing the recovered plants in batches. If they are refreshed and fixed separately, they will not be processed until the next month. Advertisement Chapter 120. The dwarves are here. A good thing or a good thing always arrives one after another. Subei explored the enchanted island in the morning, found an experiment diary, and recovered a large number of plants. After returning, he received another message from Shen Kingaling, saying that he had found a dwarf in the mountains. As a result, it was after 4 o'clock in the afternoon that Shen Kingaling sent a message again, saying that 5 dwarves were ready to go, waiting to be teleported. To be honest, Shen Kingaling couldn't figure it out. According to Subei, he saved a dwarf and wanted to contact his companion. Normally, shouldn't the dwarves from Subei teleport away? How could the dwarves from other places teleport over? Outrageous. The specific circumstances of this incident have been investigated by the special team, but with little success. Those alpine dwarves did not reveal a word. Even if a familiar island owner went to inquire about the news, they would get a specious answer. In this regard, the special affairs team studied for a long time and decided to seal this matter up, as if it did not know. One side is the alpine dwarf, and the other is the most promising newcomer island owner of the Dragon Kingdom this year, and the relationship between the two sides cannot be strained. The special team didn't want to look for trouble, and simply acted as a middleman. The 5 dwarves have been teleported to Shen Kingling's island, waiting for the follow-up teleportation. For this news, Subei is very cautious at the same time of joy. Silently turn on the shielding function of the island. Only then did he contact Shen Kingling and start teleporting the dwarves. Subei believed in Augur, knowing the list he provided. He was definitely the closest and most trusted clan. But the necessary means cannot be less. In fact, if possible, Subei would like to receive the dwarves again tomorrow. There are only 3 entries left in his hand, and he can't deal with 5 dwarves. However, after thinking for a while, Subei still activated the teleportation and brought the dwarves to the island. Augur waited expectantly beside him. The light flashed, and 5 dwarves with different faces appeared. If you look closely, it is somewhat similar to Augur. Aug, it's really you. I knew you wouldn't die so easily. 99. What about the others, how were they? 35. After seeing Aug clearly, the 5 dwarves threw away the hammer and ran over, surrounding Aug and kept asking. Augur's eyes were red with excitement, and he hugged his head and cried with the 5 dwarves. Reunions are always saddening. After a while, the emotions of several dwarves calmed down. Aug's expression became a little sad, and he sighed. The others are gone. In fact, Augur mentioned it in the note, and the 5 dwarves also knew about it. But they still have a glimmer of hope. Now that Aug has confirmed the news, the dwarves all sighed in silence for their companions. Then, Augur continued, I could not escape death, but I was rescued by the island owner and let me settle down on the island. Not only that, but also let me cast energy cannons. Energy cannon? The 5 dwarves exclaimed, then took out meteorite iron from their pockets, and asked eagerly, Aug, do you think these meteorite irons are used to forge gun barrels? Where did you get the meteorite iron? I thought it was wrong when I saw it. Aug, it's very kind of you to call us here. Hearing the comments of his companions, Aug waved his hand and said, everyone listen to me first. Now, let me introduce the island owner to you. This is the island owner, Subei, who can leapfrog silver level powerhouses at the black iron level. The dwarves thought they had heard it wrong. But after seeing Augur's solemn expression, he realized that he heard correctly. The black iron level kills the silver level in seconds. Is this something humans can do? This is real. Aviana's voice came from the side, and there were other flower fairies accompanying her. Eleanor is also there. Flower, fairy, mermaid. The 5 dwarves exclaimed. The look in Subei's eyes immediately changed. This human being, very unusual, was able to attract flower fairies and mermaids. It is good to say that flower fairies have weak fighting ability, and it is understandable to seek shelter from the strong. But the mermaids are different. Their combat power is not just to be seen. And very arrogant, and will not surrender easily. Even the top races in the island world may not be able to attract mermaids, let alone humans. As a result, they all live on the island now. What is the attraction of this island? Avina said again, everyone. When the island owner rescued our flower fairy clan and killed the silver level sea snake, later, when the sharks ran wild, they killed the silver level steel hammer shark with my own eyes. Seen. Avina, who has the entry, flower dance, has a noble and elegant temperament, and what she said immediately convinced the dwarves. Ask for flowers. It is precisely because of this that the dwarves are even more shocked. Humans can really leapfrog the silver level when they are at the black iron level. Outrageous. The expressions of the dwarves changed for a moment, and finally they all saluted and said, see Subei Island Master. Subei waved his hand and said with a smile, you're welcome, you are Augur's relatives and friends, and also my friends. Augur said beside him, you still can't believe me. 35. The dwarves laughed embarrassedly, we are convinced of what Big Brother Aug said. 55. It could be seen that Augur was very prestige among these dwarves, and he dispelled their vigilance in a few words, and looked at the surrounding environment curiously. Seeing this, Subei said decisively, Aug, take your friends around the island. 99.0. Og understood and left with the 5 dwarves. Soon came the exclamations of the dwarves. The misty tree. It even has this thing. Hey, what's on the canopy? Don't look at the mist tree, the blood spirit fruit tree here is a good thing. This storm strawberry looks a little different, how come the quality is so high? Cubs of horned eagles? Anything like that? Og, what is the origin of that island owner? Did he rob the wood elves? How come he even has horned eagles? Congratulations to the island owner for getting a few more capable officers. Dueling walked over and joked, our food expenses on the island have increased again. It's not a big deal. Sube laughed, I hope the more expenses like this, the better. With the addition of these 5 dwarves, the forging progress of the energy cannon will advance by leaps and bounds. Not to mention one a day, it should not be a problem to complete it in 3 or 4 days. It can even start 2-line construction, casting nether energy cannon and yang cannon at the same time. When the energy cannon is completed, the island's defense system will be greatly improved. In the follow-up, silver-level monsters will appear again, and they will shoot directly at them, and they will not die or be disabled. It's cool to think about. To this end, Sube felt it necessary for Augur to strengthen his ideological work. However, since these 5 dwarves came here from thousands of miles away, they obviously believed in Og. What Sube has to do is actually quite simple. He doesn't have to do anything. Org will get this done. As he expected, when it was time for dinner, the 5 dwarves expressed their willingness to stay. Advertisement Chapter 121, Furnace Master and Weapon Master. The 5 dwarves who came this time, 2 of the same age as Og, were named Norton and Hubert. The other 3 are Augur's descendants, who have been taught by him, named Benjamin, Zachary, and Laurie. The trust between each other has no choice. Originally, the 5 dwarves planned to persuade Og to go back with them. After they saw the meteorite iron piled up into mountains, they couldn't move their legs. Looking at that posture, even if Sube chased them away with a stick, it wouldn't work. After supper, the 5 dwarves followed Og to the blacksmith's shop, where they picked up the hammer and smashed it. This place is too small for the 6 dwarves to use. And the furnace also needs to be improved, and it is simply torn down and rebuilt. Sube sent earth spirits to assist. The whole process is quite simple. Flatten, erect walls, reinforce. During this process, the dwellings of the dwarves were also built. 67 The new 5 dwarves maintain the same habits as Og, and like to sleep next to the furnace. It is said that this will make you feel extra safe. Sube was puzzled by this. Shouldn't you be worried about the risk of burns? However, many of the habits of the native races of the island world are incomprehensible to humans, so Sube didn't say anything, just told them to pay attention to safety. After the construction of the new forge was completed, Og brought 5 dwarves to find Sube and said, Islander, my companions also want to master the mysterious power. The dwarf Hubert took out a magic iron arrow from his pocket and said, Your Excellency Sube, we also want to master this ability that can additionally strengthen the equipment. 35 Sube is not surprised by this. For dwarves, apart from rare ores, nothing is more attractive than high-level blacksmithing. Og was originally just an ordinary dwarf. But it was because of the encounter with Sube that he acquired the new ability, equipment empowerment. The other dwarves must have been very hot when they saw it. Og must have absolute certainty before showing his abilities to these dwarves. In fact, this is also the trump card that Sube envisioned. If Augur showed his unique skills, he would definitely make these dwarves willing to jump into the pit. However, Augur didn't actually understand the essence of this power, didn't know the existence of the entry, and only said that it was Sube's mysterious method. The other 5 dwarves thought so too. They looked quite hot. Especially the dwarves Norton and Hubert, after seeing the magic iron arrow, could not take their eyes away. Their forging level is half a kilogram from Augur's, but if they were to forge, they would never be able to make such sophisticated arrows. As for Augur's 3 little followers, Benjamin, Zachary, and Laurie, he didn't even dare to think about it. In front of the 5 dwarves, Og was a big showman. He casually revealed some words, and immediately attracted the 5 dwarves. Fascinated, wanting to master the same ability. So after quickly rebuilding the forge, he pulled Og over to find Subei. For such self-motivated dwarves, Subei is sure to fulfill their wishes. However, he still has 3 fixed times left, and he can only keep 2 until tomorrow. But the refresh must be brushed first. Collecting his thoughts, Subei said, "Since you are looking forward to it so much, then I naturally won't object, but granting abilities like this requires opportunity, and success is not something that can be achieved by wanting to succeed. This is the first vaccination. After all, it is hard to say what entries will be swiped. Can't speak to death." Hubert and the other 5 dwarves immediately showed their expressions, and nodded quickly and said, "We understand." 39 Looking at their appearance, it seems that they understand, and it seems that they do not understand. But there is a greater chance that they will be wrong. Subei didn't care either. Anyway, the final interpretation right is in his hands, so he doesn't panic at all. Refresh. 5 dwarves, 15 alternative entries, dazzling people looking at colors. But Subei is keen to grasp the point. Norton the dwarf has a purple entry, and Hubert has a blue excellence entry. As for the other 3 dwarves, the highest is only rare, and it is obviously a loss to fix it, and they have to wait until tomorrow to refresh. Norton's entry is Furnace Master, Master of the Furnace, Epic, improve the forging power of itself and surrounding units. Group buff. The emergence of this entry has great strategic significance. Forging is successful. Of course, the specific performance is definitely not the same as the game reading. The forging of weapons and equipment in the island world is a long process. There is a process error here, which may lead to the failure of previous efforts. And whether it is a dwarf or other races, they dare not say that they can be perfect without making mistakes. Even dwarves have a certain chance of failure when forging. It's lower compared to other races, but not nothing. The effect of the entry of the Furnace Master is to reduce the probability of failure. The direct effect may not be as intuitive as equipment empowerment, but the overall benefit is very considerable. Moreover, the larger the scale of the forging workshop, the greater the income. Nothing to say, just fixed directly. Fixed. Ding. The entry has been fixed. The target loyalty is constant at 100! In just an instant, Norton felt that Subei's image became tall and mighty, full of supreme majesty. Several other dwarves also noticed Norton's change and couldn't help but look forward to it. Subei said, "Norton, your ability is different from Ogre's. You will be able to appreciate it when you forge later." "Thank you, Island Master." 35 Norton's beard cocked with excitement. The other dwarves looked at Subei eagerly, full of anticipation. Subei was not in a hurry and looked at Hubert's entry. Although it is an excellent grade, the effect is also very strong. Weapon Master, excellent. Improve the quality when forging weapons. Simple but very useful entry. Maybe you can continue to refresh to get epic entries, but it is full of uncertainty. In contrast, it is more important to stabilize the minds of the dwarves. And the excellent entry is not too bad. Norton and Hubert have high prestige among these dwarves. Fixed. Ding. The entry has been fixed. The target loyalty is constant at 100! Seeing that Hubert has also undergone an unknown change, the other 3 2.5 dwarves are full of expectations. However, their entries can only be said in general, and if they are fixed, they will not lose money, but they will not make money. After thinking about it, Subei said, "I'll be here today, Benjamin, Zachary and Lori. Your abilities, I'm afraid it will take a while." 5 Ogre immediately said next to him, "The island owner must be tired, Benjamin. The 3 of you will wait first." Although Benjamin and the other 3 dwarves were a little regretful, they didn't care much. They know that as long as they stay on the island, they can master this power sooner or later. In addition, their forging skills are not up to the mark, and they must refine themselves to be worthy of that mysterious power. Not only did the 3 dwarves not feel lost, but instead they were full of higher fighting spirit. Subei couldn't understand. Why is it that those who do not have fixed entries are more excited than those who have fixed entries? What's the point of this? Advertisement. Chapter 122 Unusual Breath. After fixing Norton and Hubert's entries, the other 3 dwarves will have to wait until tomorrow to refresh. and then it depends on the situation. However, after thinking for a while, Subei decided to wait for them all to have at least an excellent entry, and then fix it together. Life needs a little ritual. In addition, Subei still understands the principle of not suffering from widowhood but suffering from unevenness. To avoid trouble, just wait. According to Og's report, when the three dwarves, Benjamin, Zachary and Lori, were forging energy cannons, their main job was to lay hands, not to forge backbones. Too much impact. While thinking about it, under the leadership of Og, the 5 new dwarves walked into the newly built forge, picked up hammers and began to familiarize themselves with the new workbench. After a few hammers, the dwarves all put on shocked expressions. How do you feel? Today's feel is particularly good, and there are basically no small mistakes. Norton recalled what Subei said just now, and said excitedly, I understand, it's my ability. The other dwarves were suddenly stunned. Indeed, Su-17 said just now that Norton's abilities were different from Og's, and they had to experience it for themselves. Feel it now. Really strong. Norton and Hubert have fixed their entries and are absolutely loyal to Subei. After discovering this, they only feel that Subei's image has become more and more stalwart. The 3 dwarves, Benjamin, Zachary, and Lori, are full of energy and look forward to being rewarded by Subei, possessing this special ability. In the forge, after a moment of excitement, the dwarves once again threw themselves into the hot work. This time, it was Hubert's turn to show his abilities. He had been researching with the magic iron arrow before, and now he has mastered a new ability, and is ready to try it out. Find fell iron scraps, smelt and forged. After a while, a new magic iron arrow appeared. Several dwarves gathered around, carefully compared the 2 magic iron arrows, and found a difference. Although the magic iron arrows forged by Hubert have no additional attributes and special effects, they are of better quality. The magic iron arrow made by Augur is a medium-grade black iron. And what Hubert built was a top-grade black iron. The data on paper is naturally that Hubert's magic iron arrow is stronger, but Augur's magic iron arrow has sharp characteristics, and the combined power is equivalent. Hubert looked at his hands and said in disbelief, is this really made by me? Then he said sincerely, Island owner, it's really unfathomable. Augur smiled beside him, how about it, I didn't deceive you by calling you here. Norton and the other dwarves suddenly laughed. It's more than not cheating, it's a huge benefit. That's right, you didn't call us earlier. We also have to sharpen our technology and strive to acquire this capability as soon as possible. 66. 35 Standing outside the forge, Subei smiled when he heard the discussion inside. Stable. At this time, it was getting late. Subei came to the dark tree and refreshed the last dark tree with no fixed entry. Is a repeated entry. Bone-eating poison, excellent level. The poison system ability that awakens the dark fruit is upgraded to D level, and the item level is upgraded to silver top grade. This is not a big problem. The effect of the bone-eating poison is to increase the poison, and it can also be regarded as returning the dark fruit to its original heart. A fixed entry is definitely not a loss. Returning to the villa to wash up. The Lin family sisters smiled. Subei couldn't help but sigh, no wonder so many people want to become island owners. Not without reason. The next day, Subei packed up and started patrolling the island. Augur and his friends are warming up and discussing the casting process of the gun barrel. They acquired new abilities last night, and adapted to the new working environment. They are ready to show off their skills and cast energy cannons as soon as possible, in order to repay Subei's affection. In the distance, under the leadership of Avina, the flower fairy is taking care of the flower seedlings, which is related to the subsequent brewing of nectar and must be carefully taken care of. However, with Katie here and the assistance of many water and light spirits, these seedlings will soon grow up. The new nectar wine, in addition to the consumption of the flower fairy itself, will become the flagship product of the Blue Star Company, accurately harvesting the wallets of the rich. In addition, more tree people will be transformed to strengthen the island defense. In Subei's vision, the edge of the island should be filled with tree people. It usually grows there quietly, and when an enemy appears, he immediately slaps the enemy to death. However, to achieve this, There is a long way to go. While thinking about it, the mermaid Eleanor stepped on the water polo and floated over from a distance, saying, "Islander, we will arrive at Sea Lizard Island in a few hours. This is also the main task today. Clean up the sea lizards and absorb the island." According to the feedback from the turtles, the sea lizards on that island were at the highest bronze rank, but there were a lot of them. With such strength, Sube is not afraid. However, while they were talking, two turtles landed from a distant beach, crawled up to Eleanor, and reported the news. Eleanor's expression became a little serious. She looked at Sube, and said, "Island owner, the turtle said that there is a bad smell on that island. If I guessed correctly, it is demonic energy. Demonic?" Sube was stunned for a moment. "Well done, how come there is magic?" But then, Sube thought of another thing. If there is magic energy, can the island still absorb it? According to the turtle's feedback, the island was normal before. It can be inferred that the demonic energy only appeared in the past 2 days. In time. As long as he kills them now and clears the source of the demonic energy, most of the 607 on the island can be rescued. With this in mind, Sube said decisively, "Gather your subordinates and prepare for battle." It was still about 10 nautical miles away from Sea Lizard Island. I originally planned to wander around, but it would arrive in the afternoon. But since the demonic energy has appeared, it is time to race against time. Sube prepared to speed up and rushed over at the fastest speed. Battle orders spread across the island in an instant. Everyone handled the work at hand as quickly as possible, and then brought their equipment and gathered beside Sube. When Sube explained the matter, everyone immediately understood the urgency of the matter. This battle is inevitable. However, everyone's will to fight is high. Even the 3 dwarves who have not yet fixed the entry, clenched the hammer in their hands and said excitedly, "Islander, don't worry, the battle is on us." 5 Sube said to wait and see. In addition to being the best craftsmen, dwarves are also very capable of fighting and are natural warriors. After arranging the relevant matters, Sube came to the heart of the island and adjusted the speed. The island under my feet swayed slightly, riding the wind and waves on the sea and moving forward rapidly. After a while, a small black spot appeared on the sea level in the distance. As the distance approaches, the outline of the island becomes more and more obvious. A few nautical miles apart, Sube could see the black air rising from the island. Advertisement: if you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 123, Demonic Vortex. Sube didn't have time to study why such a strong demonic energy appeared here. Because a dark shadow has already appeared on the sea. It is rapidly approaching. It's a sea lizard. However, the appearance of these sea lizards has undergone great changes. Although the original sea lizard was not very good looking, at least it was still within the normal range. Now, these sea lizards have undergone varying degrees of variation. An extra leg or 2 is nothing. There are also 2 more heads, and they swayed left and right when swimming, obviously not reaching an agreement. These grotesque sea lizards rushed over with madness in their eyes at this time. Sube glanced at the attribute panel. Name: Enchanted Sea Lizard. Level: Bronze. Lower skills: 1. Ignore pain. 2. Insanity. 3. Poison Fang. Description: the sea lizard eroded by demonic energy has undergone an uncontrollable mutation as expected. Ready to fight. Sube stood on the bank and drew out his dragon sword to give orders. Pay attention to your own safety and don't put yourself at risk. As ordered. The crowd responded with a bang. Avina released flower dance behind the bunker, and invisible energy waves swept across the shore, adding new power to everyone. With the increasing number of members on the island, the current battle formation has become more and more perfect. Eleanor's tamed blue water turtles serve as the first line of defense. Their defensive power is strong, and coupled with the clear water shield exerted by the water spirit, they can withstand the fierce impact of the enemy. Sube and Star Tiger are free to act, responsible for finding leaks and filling vacancies and reducing the pressure on the turtle team. At the same time, as a sharp knife unit, decapitate powerful individuals in the enemy to prevent them from breaking through the defense line. Then there are the remote positions. Eleanor, Du Ling, Juan Minaiu and the Lin family sisters are all here. Og and his buddies are guarding. Their job is to make sure it doesn't get attacked. The 5 rock soldiers spread out on both sides, and while attacking with stone arrows, they also acted as a warning. The entire defensive formation is tight and orderly, and the long-range melee combat assists each other, like an indestructible fortress, which can give the enemy a head-on attack. And fortunately to experience, it is these enchanted sea lizards. The number of enchanted sea lizards is very large, just swimming in the sea, there are more than 50. On the island in the distance, sea lizards continued to enter the water and swim toward the island. And these are just the expected enemies. The island in the distance is haunted by magic, and there may be other enemies hiding in it. This battle is not easy. Sube gathered his thoughts and slashed the enchanted sea lizards that jumped out of the sea with a gust of wind, announcing the official start of the battle. The sea lizards were originally a mixture of black iron and bronze, but perhaps because of the demonic energy, the enchanted sea lizards that Sube could see were at least bronze. And the basic attributes are also enhanced. But that's about it. Sube can kill 2 with 1 knife. The enchanted sea lizard kept breaking through the water and jumping onto the shore, and was then knocked to the ground by the oncoming attack. In a battle of this level, Sube didn't have to use his full strength. He roamed the battlefield at will, and every time he swung the wind slash with the dragon blade in his hand, he gained something. This battle is not difficult. The enchanted sea lizards do not attack from a distance, they need to withstand various attacks to move forward before they can reach the defense line of the blue sea turtles. During this process, more than half of the enchanted sea lizards will fall. And those who can get close to the heavy water turtle will also be blasted by the oncoming heavy water impact. The heavy water turtles that appeared on the island were all bronze rank, and many of them were high-ranking bronzes. It was not difficult to beat these lower-ranking enchanted sea lizards. As for those heavy water turtles of the black iron level, they were all left in the sea by Eleanor as sentries. The attacking enchanted sea lizards kept falling. Star Iron Tiger has gone crazy. Jumping back and forth on the beach, every time he stretched out his claws, he would take the life of at least 1 enchanted sea lizard. With the strength of its silver subordinates, beating the demonized sea lizard here is like an adult bullying a child. The first batch of 50 enchanted sea lizards were wiped out without making any waves. However, the new sea lizards have approached and landed continuously. In this regard, Sube's opinion is more. Bronze level enchanted sea lizards, their corpses are also very valuable. Just killing it now is enough to wipe out the account of buying the fire spirit scroll yesterday. And there is still a balance. If it wasn't for these sea lizards being corroded by demonic energy, the useless parts needed to be removed, and the value could be further mentioned. Sube's island maintained a high speed and soon approached Sea Lizard Island. Finding a space in front of the heart of the island, Sube returned to the battlefield, and at the same time observed the Sea Lizard Island he was heading to. The demonic energy on the island seemed to have sensed their arrival, and no longer spread, but instead gathered together and condensed into a swirling air mass in mid-air. Eleanor's voice came from behind. Island owner, be careful, this may be a magic vortex, a kind of transmission channel, and a common means of deploying troops for magic creatures. Sube immediately understood the meaning behind it. There are demonized creatures on the island, and they realized that the demonized sea lizards cannot defeat Sube and his party, and they are ready to shake people. While thinking about it, a roar came from the vortex of demonic energy. Soon a figure emerged and landed on the ground. Sube's eyes swept away, and his expression became a little weird. So, it's a goblin? And the level is so low. Are they here to die? Name: crypt goblin level, black iron advanced skills, 1, carnivore 2, greed 3, throwing description. The cannon fodder unit of the dark race, the individual strength is very poor, and often wins by numbers. But soon, Sube couldn't smile anymore. Because the burrow goblins demonstrated what it means to win by numbers. In just a few breaths, more than 100 burrow goblins appeared, and there was no sign of stopping at all. I don't know if these burrow goblins have been on standby. They came as soon as the magic vortex opened. After the burrow goblins landed, they quickly locked onto Subei's island, and started charging Wangdas with a mess of weapons. They are undisciplined and can't even run in a straight line. But with hundreds of burrow goblins fluttering in the sea, the scene was still somewhat spectacular. They mingled with the enchanted sea lizards and joined the battle. Du Ling put poison. 35 Subei let out a hush, and several balls of energy crossed the beach and fell into the sea. The seawater immediately turned dark green. Golem. The burrow goblins that swam the fastest foamed at their mouths and slowly sank into the sea. However, maintaining the concentration of toxins in seawater is a big challenge for Du Ling. Her stamina was rapidly draining. Fortunately, the results are also quite remarkable. Of the hundreds of burrow goblins, only 1/3 could land on the beach. He was immediately killed by Zhuan Menaiu and the others. But this is only the beginning. This patch of burrow goblins had just been cleaned up, and more goblins appeared in the vortex of demonic energy. The number of them seems to be endless. Advertisement Chapter 124 Beheading Operation. Landing on Sea Lizard Island, the new burrow goblins appeared, and without any hesitation, they charged towards Subei's island. There is a strong life energy that attracts them. With the belief of destroying everything, the burrow goblins completely ignored the silver-colored lower-level star iron tiger on the bright side, and rushed forward with one mind. Another 100 burrow goblins charged, and after swimming through the venom area, there were only half of them left. Then they were killed one by one. But their deaths are not for nothing. In order to ensure the damage of the venom area, Du Ling's physical consumption is very large. Now it is no longer possible to maintain the skills, and can only release venom bombs for single target kills. Subei didn't blame her for that, but instead cast an approving look. Du Ling killed more than 100 burrow goblins, which was not easy. After all, even with the blessing of death saints, Du Ling's level is only an intermediate level of black iron. The damage of the ability is high, but the follow-up is insufficient, which is also impossible. Du Ling took the time to rest to recover her physical strength, and others could increase their output to make up for the gap. While killing the enemy, Subei is also constantly observing the distant island. Especially the magic vortex. This is the first time he has encountered this thing, so be careful. However, he also knew the relevant records. This thing 610 is actually a transmission channel, and it takes a lot of energy to open and maintain it. On the Sea Lizard Island, there must be a dark race with a high level, and there is most likely more than one. Otherwise, the consumption of maintaining the magic vortex is enough to drain the dark race. On the other hand, as long as those dark races are killed, this devilish vortex will cease to exist. Although the benefits of brushing monsters here are great, safety issues must also be taken into account. Subei himself doesn't care. The entry of killing gods gives him the ability to absorb battles, and he can persist in battles for a long time. But not others. Du Ling has already left the stage weekly, and the Lin family sisters are also fast. They have a short awakening time, and if they want to kill the advanced black iron burrow goblins, they have to go all out every time they attack, which consumes a lot of money. Zhuan Menaiu's condition is very good. Ranger entry adds basic attributes, including physical strength. And her attack method doesn't completely rely on abilities. With just the slanted moon bow and the magic iron arrow in his hand, he can instantly kill the burrow goblins with one arrow. With the other three looking tired, Zhuan Menaiu was still alive and well, and she even got better with each fight. Bhcf. In contrast, Eleanor next to him seemed quite at ease. Her rank is bronze advanced, and she can knock down the burrow goblins with a single throw of a water arrow. You don't even have to do it yourself, just rely on the turtle squad. Except for the bronze-class turtles that organize defenses on the beach. In the ocean, there are also some black iron turtles. They stuck their heads out on the sea and locked on the burrow goblins, and they came up with a heavy water impact, then turned their heads and dived underwater, floating up from another place and attacking again. This fighting style made the burrow goblins uncomfortable. They swim very fast and can quickly approach the island, but they are not the opponents of sea turtles and can't catch up at all. Can only carry the attack and rush forward. Tsubei had a panoramic view of the whole battle situation, and he had a scruple in his heart. He's going to rush. The fighting continued, and it was even more unfavorable for him. Every second the demonic vortex exists, more burrow goblins will be summoned. There may be stronger enemies in the future. In order to avoid this situation, Tsubei prepared to rush to Sea Lizard Island, kill the dark race there, and interrupt the magic vortex. You, maintain the front line, I will go back when I go. After Tsubei finished speaking, he ran all the way on the sea, running out of the afterimage at such a fast speed. Everyone on the island looked at each other in dismay. The speed of the island owner seems to be faster. Star Iron Tiger roared and wanted to follow. But it came back decisively after trying to go into the water. Too heavy to swim at all. It sank in an instant. The dark race on Sea Lizard Island sensed Tsubei's approach, and a dozen figures rushed out from the island, ready to intercept. The one who attacked was a rat man, whose shape was a rat standing upright, with a height of about 1 meter 5, wearing iron armor and holding a long spear. On the head of the huge mouse, there are 2 pairs of small and long eyes. 4 eyes stared at Tsubei at the same time, killing intentful. Name, Abyss Rat Man. Level, Bronze. Advanced skills, 1, Intermediate Spearmanship. 2, Dexterity. 3, Summon Rats. Description: the dark race that evolved after the Abyss Demon Rats strayed into the island world, and is characterized by its strong reproductive ability. The Abyss Rat people are not strong, but their appearance represents different meanings. They look like guards. And after the appearance of the Abyss Rat people, the magic vortex did not change much, indicating that they are not maintainers. There is someone else who maintains the vortex of magic energy. While thinking about it, the Abyss Rat Man on the opposite side made an unpleasant cry. The soil around his feet shattered, and black rats kept burrowing out of the ground. Tsubei raised his hand and executed a gust of wind, killing dozens of mice. But more rats are still emerging, and the Abyss Ratmen also clenched their spears and rushed up, ready to attack in coordination. It has to be said that their tactical choices are not wrong. The summoned mouse has sharp teeth, can bite through even armor, and is small and fast, making it a very difficult enemy. But in Tsubei's eyes, it was all for nothing. After a few quick dodges, he rushed to the Abyss Rat Man, raised his knife and chopped off the rat's head. Without the magic power of the Abyssal Ratman, the number of black rats will no longer increase. More than a dozen Abyss Rat people could not hold on for 10 seconds. And the black mice, after losing their command, killed each other and soon died out. Before Tsubei could continue to move forward, 3 extremely burly Abyss Ratmen rushed over. They have reached the top level of bronze and are better equipped. Tsubei was a little puzzled. With this strength, why not send it out earlier? If he attacked with the previous Abyss Rat Man, he might even cause him a little trouble. The dark race on the island has a worrying IQ. In fact, it's not that the dark races have insufficient IQ, but they underestimated Tsubei's strength. In their perception, it was only a bronze subordinate who rushed over. Although the speed was indeed fast, it was nothing more than that. More than a dozen bronze high-level Abyss Ratmen will definitely be able to win. Then it was seconds. In this way, the dark race that maintained the magic vortex on the island discovered that the problem was not right, and hurriedly dispatched the elite rat people. But it was too late. Tsubei went up and slashed the 3 elite ratmen to death, then proceeded in the direction they appeared. The dark race that maintains the vortex of demonic energy must be there. Advertisement. Chapter 125. The Blood Baron. The further you go, the more you can feel the lingering evil aura, and the air seems to become thicker. Tsubei stood upside down with hair all over his body, and his expression became more and more solemn. What is the origin of the enemies on the island? In addition, are they fed up and come to this Sea Lizard Island to make trouble? What are they trying to do? It's not a dangerous place either. If you really want to make trouble, go to those super islands. But Tsubei thought about it. It is precisely because of its remote location that it will not be discovered. Accumulate strength here, and then go to attack the super island and have a greater grasp. Concentrating his mind, Tsubei rushed out of the corner and saw the scene in the distance. 3 figures shrouded in gray cloaks, with a jet black magic circle emitting light at their feet, are continuously extracting free magic power. The energy absorbed by the magic circle is constantly pouring into the air and into the magic vortex. At this time, in the vortex of demonic energy, the burrow goblins that emerged from it had already risen to the top level of black iron. If this vortex of demonic energy is allowed to continue, it is very likely that bronze-level goblins will appear. One is not too strong. But there are many, and very many. At that time, sooner or later, there will be a breach in the defense line. Therefore, the three guys who maintain the circle must die. Sube swept his gaze, and had a panoramic view of the attributes of the three. Name: Abyss Radman Priest level, Bronze. Top skills: 1. Magic control. 2. Mastery of magic array. 3. Evil summoning. Description: the wise man of the Abyss rat race. Sube thought to himself that it was no wonder that the three cloaked figures looked so familiar, but they turned out to be rat people. Having said that, the rat man evolved from the demon rat, and how did the profession of priest even appear? Just when Sube was about to hack to death the three rat priests and interrupt the magic vortex, a mutation occurred. Human, just wait to die, Lord Atwood will avenge us. After shouting these words, the three rat priests took out daggers from their cloaks in unison, and stabbed them in the heart. Puff. The rat man priest fell to the ground, spewing blood. Sube looked dumbfounded. What is this operation? But in the next second, the flesh and blood of the rat priest flew out of the cloak and was sucked into the vortex of demonic energy. And no new burrow goblins appeared in the vortex of demonic energy. Instead, a distant and profound energy fluctuation appeared, and the intensity increased sharply. Sube reacted immediately. The three ratmen summoned the boss at the expense of themselves. In the dense sound of wings flapping, hundreds of bats flew out of the magic vortex. Then they gathered together and turned into a humanoid. This way of appearing gives Sube a strong sense of sight. When the figure on the opposite side was completely formed, Sube couldn't help but pouted. Yes, it is really blood. Name: Baron Atwood level, silver. Top skills: 1. Blood technique. 2. Life drain. 3. Transforming bat. Description: a blood baron from the abyss, desperate for blood. To tell the truth, the three rat man sacrifices were able to summon the blood baron of the top silver class. This method is indeed very powerful. It would be even stronger if the rat man priest could save his life. Concentrating, Sube looked at Baron Atwood, thinking about how to hack him to death. Judging from the previous appearance, this guy can turn his body into a bat. Baron Atwood will not be completely wiped out unless Sube can kill all the bats with one knife. Combat is difficult. But Sube is fearless and fighting spirit. What about the blood baron? As long as he has a weakness, he can kill him. The opposite Baron Atwood looked at Sube and said, "Human, your breath disgusts me." Sube pouted, "You also disgust me." 99. After saying that, Sube rushed forward and started with Gale Slash. He wants to test Atwood's combat power. In the face of the rapidly attacking airblade, Atwood was very calm, snapped his fingers, and his body was covered with blood balls. With a smile on his face, Atwood said disdainfully, "Humans of the inferior bronze level dare to attack me. I really don't know whether to live or die. Such a weak and powerless sword light can do." At Atwood's expression changed, and he let out a short, hurried cry. Although Sube couldn't understand it, he could guess that the vampire on the opposite side should have uttered a foul language, something like a lie. "Ask for flowers." While yelling, Atwood quickly retreated, and dense cracks appeared on the blood cell he just made. The place hit by the air blade was almost penetrated. If Atwood hadn't slipped so fast, the air blade would have already slashed at him. Sube couldn't help scolding, "Shameless villain, don't talk about martial arts, don't run if you have the ability." Baron Atwood flushed with anger. The heart, which had stopped beating for hundreds of years, jumped twice in disappointment. Damn human, how dare to offend him, the blood baron, it's really damn. But in his heart, Atwood was extremely shocked. Where did this human come from, and how could he almost smash his barrier with a single knife? You must know that he is the top level of silver, and the human on the opposite side is only the lower level of bronze. With such a large level gap, Normally, Atwood can stand still and ignore the attack. That's what he had planned from the beginning. The result nearly rolled over. Blessed to the heart. Baron Atwood pointed at Sube and shouted, "I know, you are Demon Slayer." 99 Sube said in his heart that this guy is not very skilled and has a very unique vision. But he won't admit it. Just let the Blood Clan guess. Although Baron Atwood did not receive a response from Sube, he firmly believed in his own inference. Also more shocked. The Demon Slayer has not appeared for many years, and even the inheritance is still a problem. Before that, Baron Atwood thought so too. The results are only now found out, and it was so wrong. The slaughtering warrior did not cut off the inheritance, but instead moved to another place to develop, and even found a human being. Baron Atwood was taken aback. Could it be that those demon slayers who claim to be righteous have already gained a firm foothold among humans and have begun to re-influence the island world? If that's the case, then things are in trouble. Baron Atwood resigned. It's not that he's cowardly, but that he has to bring this news back. Compared with the interests of the Abyss, what is his personal honor and disgrace? It's definitely not because he can't beat the human being on the other side. Absolutely not. Advertisement. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.